I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition of Commissioner Meyer.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Next.
How's it going?
What are we doing with recognizing of Commissioner Meyer?
Oh,
Thanking him for his year's work?
Erica?
Yep.
Well, that's right, you get to do it. I did it last time.
Yes, that's why I did it.
I present this to you, Dave, for your leadership as the Becker County Chair in 2025.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we recognize it.
Hey, I got a gal.
I knew you looked familiar.
All right. So Carrie, I believe you do this next part, correct?
I can, yes.
Okay.
So I will call for nominations for board chair, and I'll call 3 times. And then once I do that, I will look for a nomination for board chair. We don't necessarily need to second it, but you certainly can because we're used to doing that. And then I'll call for a vote. Okay?
Well, I'll nominate, or you go ahead.
I would, you were one step ahead of me.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I would entertain nominations for board chair.
I'll nominate Erica Jepson for board chair.
Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to, do we appoint Erica Jepson as board chair?
Yeah.
Yes,
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have a second? Or
well, you can second if you'd like to. All those in favor?
aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, you are the board chair.
Nice knowing you.
Get the drawer with you.
The famous drawer switches. My drawer's never been switched before. You want to switch your drawers later?
Yeah. We'll switch the drawers later.
Just thought I was suggesting.
I can't get mine switched, so. Sweet.
It's back here.
Hi, Richard.
Hey, Erica. Don't be copying my notes.
Is it going to help me pass? All right. Thank you, everybody. All right, now do we just move on to nominations for vice chair? Again, same as Carrie, I'll ask for nominations 3 times and then we'll vote. Do I have any nominations for vice chair?
I will nominate Phil Hansen for vice chair.
Do I have any nominations for vice chair? Any nominations for vice chair? All right, with that, I will take a motion or vote.
I'll make a motion to appoint Phil Hansen as the vice chair.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. I didn't oppose, I was late.
All right, welcome to Vice Chair Commissioner Hansen.
All right.
All right, next on the agenda is committee assignments. We all had the list of committees in the packet. Anybody want any changes before we go to the AMC ones?
Yeah, Madam Chair, number 35, Partnership for Health. That should say Meyer and Jepson. And then there's no alternate anymore either.
At the bottom of the page, it says alternates.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
anyone can.
Correct, yeah.
But Partnership for Health no longer has.
No longer requires a specific named alternate.
And I think there are 2 officially on.
There's 2 commissioners on
Yep.
it. Yeah, there's
Anyone else have any other changes?
Madam Chair, just as we're looking through this, I mean, I'm looking for some history here. What has been done in the past? I mean, I'm happy with the committees I'm on, but in order to know more about other committees, should we be moving? Barry, you've been here for a long time. Like,
Yeah,
Is-
I mean, I think it's really up to us and whatever.
It's taken me a long time to learn my committees. I'm old now. And I'm not, I need to know what I'm doing. And if you're gonna take me and switch me to something else, then I'm not gonna know what I'm doing. And that's kind of where I'm at.
but Madam Chair, Commissioner Varberg, you're going to know something about something that we vote on, and that was my thought. Know something about an area I don't know something about.
Yeah, and
Is there a specific committee you are interested in being on?
Madam Chair, I like all the committees I'm on. I wanted it for more general discussion
Sure.
than, and I was hoping to hear from Commissioner Nelson.
Oh, I think a good mix of it, to change committees every, if you're on here quite a while, to switch it up. There is a lot of benefit for having past history on committees. So, I mean, if it's something, a committee that you're really interested in, you're going to put more time and have more knowledge on it. So I think that's kind of where we look at. I certainly, there's commissioners, I think, that do really well, and I would not want to see them off of certain committees. So I think it's just a balance, and if there's something that you have a passion for that you see, then you work with a commissioner on that committee and see if you want to swap something out. But I've always I've switched committees numerous times. I've been on highway for a number of years, and I kind of gave that up but you always want to kind of have a balance. Everyone has a balance of committees, and it's whatever the board wishes. And I think there was a time when it was shaken up quite a bit, and by the future chair, and the whole board was not happy with it. So if you have a major change up, you won't get a lot of support, I don't think.
Madam Chair,
So for next year, if you want to shake things up a lot, you probably won't get the support of the full board.
I think, Madam Chair, just for me, being on finance this year, I think is going to open a lot of my eye to see how money flows and stuff. I brought this up before, and would there be any capacity for this board to want to do this meeting of the whole with maybe just one of the committees, just to see how it goes, to see if we like it better or not?
I'm not interested. I think you do committee as a whole. You look at our agendas now, and it's almost getting to, we're getting less on the agenda. I like full discussion at the full board. If you have committee as a whole, you're just going to have another board meeting, and that's where your full discussion of all committees will be, and you will eliminate the committee role.
I think
I'm
you lose a lot of
happy.
transparency.
yeah, I'm happy with it the way it is now, Phil, for me.
All right.
I like being on highway. I know construction. Okay, I like being on environmental. I know equipment. There's a lot of things that go on out there that I can understand. And if you start putting me in places that I don't understand, it's a stumbling block for me, and it's hard for me to even talk about it up here. I could have maybe learned something a long time ago. It's hard to teach me and train me now. It doesn't go as good.
Madam Chair, and Commissioner Varberg, that's perfectly fine. We can stay this way. I just know that a lot of money floats through a lot of different departments, and it involves a lot of trust of the people who are on the other committees, and that meeting of the whole, we would all hear the same thing. I just think there's advantages to it, but hearing what you guys think, we can stay that way, and I'm sure I'll learn a lot more through finance, because
If you do committee as a whole, and you'd basically eliminate your committees. is
that's
what you
correct.
do.
That is absolutely correct.
And we have our sheriff committees, our meetings go for 3 hours. it's not uncommon to have a 3-hour meeting. So you're talking possibly a 2-day work session at times. I mean, for just
Well-
committee as a whole.
I was thinking of just easing into it, maybe trying it as one of the major departments that we spend a lot of money on as meeting of the whole, just try one as a group, see if we like it. If we don't, we go back.
Well, then you're just eliminating one committee, and I just don't, I mean, that's my opinion.
That's
Yeah,
fair,
it's just-
Richard, and, okay.
And I think, if you have any interest in other committees, just reach out to that commissioner and then we can make the change on the committee list at our next board meeting.
We may make the committee.
Or we may make the change. One other that I wanted to change is I do have Cornerstone on here as a paid per diem, and I'm really just kind of an on-call. So I don't think that one needs to be we had discussed that at last year, and I don't think that one needs to be a per diem meeting any longer. Then we can move on to the AMC committee appointments.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, go ahead.
Do you want to
Vote on
and
this.
approve this?
With the elimination of
With
Cornerstone.
elimination and the change to.
Yes. Do I have a motion to accept the committee list for 2026 with the changes noted?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried.
Perfect.
All right, for the AMC policy committees, who was on the Environmental and Natural Resources Policy Committee?
I am.
Was that
That's,
Barry? Do
Yep.
we want to change that up at all?
Madam Chair, I would, I'm on transportation right now. I'm really interested in environmental and natural resources, which Barry is on. I'd like to go to the general government, and I'd like to do public safety too. Unfortunately, you can't do all of them. But Richard could take transportation, and Richard, would you want to flip? Let's see, you're on general
you on,
government. He's on general government right now. I'd like to flip that for sure. And the problem is that these AMC meetings, they run at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but I would at least like to, if Commissioner Varberg is open to that, flipping general government with transportation between.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
We used to have some guy that was on transportation that knew a little bit. What was his name?
I think his last name was
Okeson?
Okeson. Yeah. All right, so Phil, you want to go on general government?
Sure, yes.
I'm fine with staying on Health and Human Services unless there's somebody else that.
No, I'm good with public safety too.
Madam Chair, you go down to the voting delegate appointments, Carrie's name should be on there, and I suppose any department head that would like, that has it, we could add the department heads.
Yeah, and
as
I think in the
appropriate.
past, we had Denise as an alternate, and beyond that, I can't recall.
Well, I think I think the list's up to 8. We can just list all
List
the
all
I
the
names.
think we have
department
3
heads.
alternates, is what I remember, yeah. Yep,
Not that they're going to be at many meetings, but I mean, list
but at least we have the list
The
complete.
people that can vote. Yeah.
Carrie, Denise, Steve, Jim.
Sheriff Bonder
I
for public safety.
think he's on his own.
You have your own.
Yeah, he is in his own world.
But for those appropriate.
So is this, I'm guessing this is something we have to vote on?
Yes.
Do we have to vote on the voting delegate appointments?
We can also amend, say that or whatever is appropriate to add to up to 8 if we need to. Can we do that?
Yes,
Department heads that are appropriate to be on this list. As all.
yeah, and for some reason, I think it's 3 alternates, but if you want me to shore
Well,
that
there's
up.
8 on the list. So you
Yeah.
can list up to 8.
Yes, correct.
So I think you just put Denise, Steve, Jim.
It
If
says,
they're-
it says it's entitled to a number of delegates equal to 3 more
Then
than the
four.
number of persons on the county commission board.
So it'll be 8.
So it would be
3
8.
3 alternates.
Oh, so you can have 8. Okay.
So we have Environment Commissioner Nelson, General Government Commissioner Hansen, myself on Health and Human Services, Commissioner Meyer on Public Safety, and Commissioner Varberg on Transportation and Infrastructure. And then for the delegates, we have Carrie Smith, and then the department heads as appropriate.
Yeah, and if you would like me to, I have a department head meeting on Monday. I can certainly ensure that they are willing.
So we have to, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just put their names down. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
it's not a significant,
And it's really just on behalf of the county if the
We
commissioners,
need somebody to stand in.
yeah.
Yeah, can't be there to vote.
so let's just list the ones, Steve, Jim,
Denise.
Denise.
Madam
Kyle.
Chair, should we
Kyle.
bring that back then, next meeting? Make sure you run that past them, or?
They've been listed in the past. I don't think
Yeah.
there's ever been a request for them to,
If there's any issues, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, I would say just fill up the list and if
Kyle,
there's any issues.
Susan,
Make sure that it
Susan.
gets sent in.
Mitch.
Yes.
Judy.
Judy's a good one, although, yeah. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the AMC appointments.
do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next on the agenda, we have Commissioner Per Diem's additional meetings not on the committee list.
So I had added this per the request of, I believe it was Commissioner Meyer,
I think it was me.
or one, yeah, it was one of you.
Just to make it clear, I think.
Just to have some further discussion there. We kind of keep coming back to some of those meetings of whether or not we want to have them as a per diem meeting. And the ones that I could recall were work sessions of the board, the TNT hearing. Was there others that the road
Board of
tour?
Road tour. I
The
think
road tour
TNT
comes up.
hearing wasn't,
Yes,
Wasn't
but
one.
those are the ones that have been questioned and thought that it should be a board discussion.
All right, thoughts?
I think TNT is not one.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
one?
I
I don't think, like township meetings,
No.
the annual should not be.
Okay,
No,
Fair
I
enough.
agree.
So then I think the biggest question would be work sessions. and
Work
road tour.
sessions and the road tour. In the road tour, in the past, we've had it a per diem meeting, but we've never had anything official.
correct.
If there's I think usually when you have a work session, it's a called work session by the board and could identify it at that time.
Okay,
I mean,
So
depending
identify
upon
it at the time that it's scheduled.
with work sessions.
Okay.
And the road tour should be one.
okay. And just for the board's information, I did ask the question of other counties and it was probably about 50-50 for work sessions, just so you know. But then also some other counties have regularly scheduled work sessions too, so that factors in as well.
So what we have is at the time is scheduled for work sessions, TNT and Board of Appeals, not, and road tour, yes. And then any additional township meetings that you may attend are not.
So I'll make a motion to approve what you said.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Could we discuss what the pay is for those sessions?
It's already set.
The per diem, the $75?
Yes. Can we discuss that now, or we did talk about that last
It's
meeting?
been
We
set.
said it.
The same as last year.
Okay. I did some quick math. 5 commissioners, let's say we do 10 meetings a month. This comes from, we're raising our levy on our taxpayers $2.5 million for this year. If we just took a per diem, if we went $75 down to $50 per meeting for the year, if we all go to 10 meetings a year, it'd save the county about $15,000. Can I amend that motion to include that?
Do we need a resolution for that? We had a resolution for it when we approved it at the end of the year, we approved it by a resolution. So do we need to amend the resolution?
I would say yes.
You're talking about something
if
not
that's
really attributed to this motion, though.
Yeah.
I would,
This is not the same discussion.
I think yeah,
What you're talking about, you would probably have to add an agenda item to the
that's what I
dialogue.
would suggest. if you want to talk about different pay on that, I would suggest.
So let's move forward with the motion on the table regarding which meetings are per diem and are not per diem. And then let's vote on that first. Unless anybody wants to amend their motion to include that.
Well, what Phil's talking about is reducing the pay on meetings, and that's a separate issue than what meetings are.
Not per diem and per diem, yeah.
Because it's not on the agenda.
So you're saying I would have had to bring this up?
I would say it would be appropriate to put that on the agenda, say you want to review board pay at meetings for per diems.
All right.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table regarding which meetings are per diem, which ones are not. We have a second. Any further discussion?
Just so you know, I mean, I saw this on the list, and it says commissioner per diems. So we're saying that we're talking about giving the commissioners per diems. We're not talking about the amount, even though it says commissioner per diems on the agenda, what we're going to talk about.
It says commissioner per diems, additional meetings not on the committee list.
Yeah.
So it's clarifying which meetings are not or are.
But if I may, Madam Chair, that was the intent of the agenda item, was to really decide which meetings were going to be per diem and which ones were not.
And really, we did set the per diem rate
We did.
already at the end of
But
at the
it's
end of the
certainly
year.
something, if you want on the agenda in the future for future discussion, we certainly can do that.
All right. We can vote on that. Or I have no more discussion.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we need a break?
You can move your break if you'd like.
Yeah, we can move the break. All right, agenda confirmation. Any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair, there's a couple of tweaks, if you will. Under County Administrator, the discussion with regards to the museum should be removed. I believe she'll be coming to the next meeting. She needed to have some clarification in her information that she would like to bring to the board. In addition to that, under Sheriff, there is purchasing of 5 squads. I believe it should be 2.
Yes, correct.
Right? Two squads instead of 5. And certainly if there's questions on that, the sheriff can answer that when he comes up to the podium, up to the table.
Okay, any additional changes?
Madam Chair, Carrie, are you going to do the ICWIC update? I think we need to know, were you going
I
to?
can certainly cover that in my
Okay.
report.
And then I wanted to add, where are we at with the blighted properties and the conditional use permit? Look back, where are we at with those things?
Do we want to address that in Carrie's report?
Yeah, can you add that report to your report, Carrie?
I
I mean, just to update and even
don't
if,
have much of an.
even if it isn't, I don't have much of an
Want to
update.
add it under me? Okay, sure.
It's the benefits of being the county.
You know, Madam Chair, we've been talking about, when I came in last year, we started talking about this. We've had meetings on it. I mean, was that lawyer back in November? I mean, it's either do
So-
something or,
So we don't have anything to vote on at this time. So we don't need to add anything to the agenda, but Carrie will report on, can touch on that during her report
Or future updates.
or future
or
update.
What we can expect to hear from it.
But other than the museum and the sheriff, are there any changes to the agenda?
I don't have anything further.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, minutes. Any changes to the minutes?
I have one under summary of administrators review, page 2 of 4, the last bullet point. I don't know if renegotiate is the right word. I think maybe just amend. We're not really renegotiating.
Agreed.
Any other corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda. Anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda? For further discussion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
One second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Open forum.
Anybody sign up?
Nobody signed up. Nobody wants to talk to us this morning. Okay, then we'll move on to reports.
Go ahead.
Anybody want to go first?
Sure. Madam Chair, I'll go first. I had a Pelican River watershed meeting. Haven't had a levy increase since 2011. They're going up $50,000. Their annual budget is about $750,000. The award was for Bucks Mills was bid and let. Asheville in Kokoda, Minnesota got the bid, so that work will be starting this summer. Prairie Lakes still working on an ash landfill permit from the MPCA, trying to get drier fuel so we can burn more, and but pretty much everything there is steady as she goes. Airport, we talked about the arrival and departure area, renovating that. Engineer's estimate was 1.3 million. They should get bids in sometime here in January, and they could do the renovation by the end of 2026. I asked about county funds to help that out, and they assured me that there would be none. So they said that should all be grant funded. Construction demolition, Zoom, we're really in the mud. We are working on costs, and just so many other things are coming into this regional construction and demolition landfill thing. We're really getting weighed down with just everybody's got different issues, but we're working on it. Still working on it. No end result yet. Environmental. We've got a grant-ready application for a new HHW building, more on our campus there, because the current HHW building is outdated and it's way off campus. We're working on grinding some of those wood chips, those pallets, and making them useful for turkey wood chips for bedding. So that's something that's kind of exciting. Organics is continuing to grow. Richard and I and Steve had a long talk about the MRF there, material recovery facility, and getting a fiber screen in there to separate the paper out. It's expensive, but it would really move us to the next level with recycling. So that we're doing some due diligence on that. And it's already been, the building's been retrofit for this device. The device is just expensive, probably $800,000. Mattress recycling, we recycled about 3,500. We're going to try to push, I'm going to talk with Steve, but try to get more mattresses in here to get recycled.
For the,
How did the
that's what I was
3-day
just going to
go?
ask.
We got 56 mattresses as well. I thought we'd get more.
Is that including both the box spring, or are they measured separately?
I call them all one, whether it's a box spring or a
So it's-
mattress.
If it was 2 box spring and a mattress, that's 2.
Correct.
I brought 2 of them in.
Yep, there's like 56 I think we got. You know, it's cold. Mattress isn't something you can really store for a while, like electronics. You can kind of put it on a shelf. So we learned something, and I think it went well for starting. It didn't really interfere with anything. Casa County, what is it, $15 times 56 mattresses? That was the cost, but it keeps them out of the ditch. Purchase new walking floor trailer. We're going to talk about that. The boom, tractor boom and mower with NRM. We're talking about that. We got a pile of compost out there, and we're going to attempt to trommel that and get good compost out there and hopefully have a end market for it and sell that. We'll be working on that in the spring. We're going to purchase a little over $10,000 scan tool to help diagnose equipment issues, which we'll be able to
It's on
trade
the-
up.
On the agenda.
Yep, it's on the agenda. And then the last thing, Richard and I, we talked about, Steve said, hey, I need to have some special exceptions. And it isn't on the agenda now, but for some things that people come in and are asking, like selling or collecting that film, like the film plastic,
The Becker wrap.
compost, ground sheetrock. He has to come to sometimes he has to move quickly, he says. And so he's going to come up with a plan for some of these special exceptions that aren't on our list of costs.
So like, I'm not sure what you mean.
We've got
So
a
like,
list.
how much it's gonna cost for people to bring that in?
Yes.
Or,
Gotcha.
or even sell it
Yeah.
back out. The sheetrock, we grind it up, we got a pile of it. A guy says, hey, I'll take a look, rather than come to board and wait another month, sometimes,
So more of a policy.
we don't know yet. Steve was gonna look and see what other counties were doing, but he would come back with something just so that
I
he
like
could
the-
move on some of this
I
unique
like the
stuff.
highway department with piles of gravel to townships or.
Similar to that. Let's see what he comes up with first, but yeah, similar to that, just special exceptions. We have our list of things, what tires cost, what general things that come in, but sometimes there's some unique stuff that comes in expense or goes out as input. And he'd like a little free will to do a little bit on some just unique exceptions. And that took us up,
Negotiating power.
yep, that's right. So that took me up to Christmas and that's all I had.
All right.
No, I'll go next. So at a DAC meeting, we met with the architect that we're going to use. We're working on a building project, and we've now decided that we are going to do a remodel inside instead of adding on. The architect, the rationale for adding on the first time was that we would interrupt where the services would be at. They could still be at the DAC, but it doesn't really, he said we can retrofit your building and make it, your space more usable, and it would be actually cheaper and you'd have a better result. So we're going to do that. So we will, when we do this, be looking for a place to be for about 3 months. So we had talked about maybe doing it during the summertime, and maybe we could get one of the schools to allow us to use some space or lease some space to
M-State.
M-State, yeah, M-State, that'd be a possibility too. We brought up all those possibilities, so, yeah, that's our big projects going on there. Also at a sheriff's meeting with Commissioner Nelson, sorry.
Don't call me Barry.
Oh, don't call me Barry. I think everything's on the agenda, did we, or except for, we talked about the
The one thing on the
Storage, yeah.
agenda, there's 5 vehicles to purchase, and there's
Yeah.
5 vehicles, but 3 have already been authorized, so that was one
yeah.
thing we want to discuss the impound,
Well, the impound
future of the
stuff, yeah,
impound,
yeah.
and we're kind of putting on hold right now to see what other options are available. There's 3 grants and then service agreement, I think,
Yeah, I
for
think they're all-
Motorola.
They're
I
on the
think, yeah.
agenda. Yep. That's all I have. You guys are
Alright.
lucky today.
Commissioner Nelson?
Richard and I had natural resources. I think at this time, we're going to continue with keeping the building, the old former Pelican Watershed building for storage. We had a revised quote for a reduction in price, but I think at this time, we want to just keep it and see the needs of that. We received on the agenda, there's some quotes for the old shelter. That's on the agenda. The Deal Nordic Ski Club is requesting if they can place donation boxes for trail upkeep on county property. Mary has a problem with the title work on Osage Beach, but we've kind of, it's either county land or DNR land, and we're going to continue on moving forward with that. We're looking at a draft position description for a full-time employee to help with county parks and recreation. Anything else, Richard? Resolution with Woods and Wheel ATV Club. Anything else?
No, well, that property up on Sugar Bush, we talked about that a little bit. We don't know what we're gonna do with that yet. And the tribe, we talked to the tribe a little bit about maybe working together on taking care of it and who wants it. Do we put a public swimming beach in there or what we're gonna do with it, but other than that, I can't think of anything else.
There's still and there's a house there, right?
There's a house there and that's kind of I don't know, what do you do with that? I keep thinking about what we do with that house up there, Barry, and maybe,
Yeah, I don't like the idea of having a house on, or to use
No.
it as a facility, so I don't know
No.
what you want to do with it.
I would
I
it
mean,
may have, the one thing about that house is it's a lot, there's some value in that house. That's a log home and you can take it apart. I believe you could take it apart piece by piece and put it back together the same way. And so there's some value there and we could maybe sell that house.
yeah, I
and
think
use that.
it's not a finished product,
No,
it's a, and I don't, but,
you know, I've seen people sell really old log homes. Ones that have been sided over that, because that's what they did with some of those log homes. They sided right over
Yeah.
them. So I think there's some value there. I keep thinking about, I don't see why we would leave it there. I don't want to own a house and I don't want to rent it out and we don't.
no.
So
No.
it doesn't really fit with what we're thinking about doing. with the
No,
property.
all we're looking for is a bathroom facility, and I think retrofitting that to that would cost more than just put a vault up.
Yeah,
So,
so,
The only, I had Lakeland Mental Health. We're not meeting our budget for the year, but we are going to be in the positive. So, I mean, that's the good news. Our revenues weren't met, but our expenses were also adjusted to that. So, it's not much of a in the black, but I think moving forward, we've set some goals to improve some sites that I think are good. And we were in the positive, so that's one thing you want to make sure. Other than that, I think, I had some questions about assessing again. I think I forwarded Carrie some of those concerns I had a specific one. So I think hopefully the assessments on some of these open lands, I mean, even are going the right direction or going down in value for our upcoming years because, we're overvaluing a lot of these bare lands, in my opinion. So
One thing I thought of this morning at the joint governance meeting when the Commerce mentioned, I don't know, coffee and community, I think was what they have monthly. And maybe that would be an opportunity for us to host one to discuss property value and assessing and how the levy, all I mean, if there's anybody here that can competently explain our state's property tax system, but that it might be helpful for community education because as we've seen at our TNT meeting, like there's a lot of people that would maybe be interested in learning more about that.
and that kind of is the function of the TNT meeting. I mean, usually we have a slideshow showing how the taxes are collected and how they're divvied out, and
Here it is right here.
so.
I mean, it shows you, takes you step by step, why, how, when. Now, to relay that, it gets complicated and people tune out. But I mean, we've done simple things to try to explain it.
It is surprising to me how many people think that just because the assessed values go up, we get more money. I mean, there's
Yes.
still people that think that the old mill rate levy was how you function, and that's not the case. I mean, the county,
Or when our levy goes up 9%, their taxes are automatically going to go up
Yeah.
9%. That I hear that from a lot of people, and so it's very complicated, and it might be just a way for us to partner with the chamber to see if there's any interest in having more conversations about, and maybe we don't do it till fall, or maybe we do it in the spring around the Board of Appeal time, whatever it might be, but.
I think right before the deadline to apply for abatements would be, or,
For the appeal.
for the
Yeah.
appeal of their property values would be a good time to highlight that, so they get informed about that timeline and what to do. Because I've had people ask me, how do I, what's the process? And I said, you have to go to the township first.
Yep.
You have to.
Yep.
Or the city.
Any other meetings? Richard, did you have any?
no, I just had an interim with Barry and environmental with Phil, and I will just say on this environmental with this fiber screen that Phil mentioned. It's very expensive, but it would go a long way. And,
Is there grants for it?
huh?
Grants?
Well, we're always looking for grants for it, but we've actually got, it wouldn't cost anything on the levy.
Oh,
We
sure.
actually have money, and in environmental.
Mm-hmm.
And now with with this problem with our ICWIC crew leader and the problem with this source of
Mm-hmm.
people there, this could replace a lot of people. And it's a
Sure.
lot of money, but it's something that I think the board needs to think about. Because it would go a long way for more recycling. And with the cost of putting garbage in landfills and sending it to the incinerator, I don't like to spend that much money, but I think it's something that we should all think about.
Yep.
Madam Chair, just to piggyback off what Richard said, it's our bottleneck right now. This paper fiber screen is what is holding us up from doing more. So that was kind of the impetus for talking about this and say, hey, let's try to move this forward. It is expensive, grants come and go. Yeah, if you wait around, we've probably been waiting for a grant for several years. Our MRF it's fit for it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big thing too. They made it for this piece of equipment. Equipment's expensive, but it could solve some other issues, probably create some too, but it could get more throughput through the day.
And the problem is the future of garbage it's very uncertain where we can take it and what it's gonna cost. And it changes all the time. And so we would have more control over what those costs are gonna be if we do less landfilling.
And does that have anything with your regional?
No.
No.
Madam Chair, no,
That's
that's
totally
that's
different.
C and D, that's construction,
Gotcha.
demolition, landfill. This has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Nothing directly to do with it.
Okay. Well, I did not have any meetings other than we did all attend the joint governance meeting. We got a good overview on the Westlake Drive project that will hopefully be finished by fall of this year. And then just learned a little bit about other, what the city is doing, City of Frazee is doing, school and M-State. So that is all I have for reports. Anybody else have anything for reports and correspondence?
At our joint governments meeting this morning, when Steve was talking about M-State, I think, something to consider is I think Carrie, maybe take Denise over and say if there's a partnership that for community health over there and human services, a partnership rather, to start with and see what the other outbuildings would be. Might be a situation where you could discuss that partnership in the short term or in the midterm and see what the use is for the outbuildings if they're not going to have the need for those too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it might be a win-win, and then eventually see where it
What happens?
moves to.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Madam Chair, I was just going to add to the joint governance meeting, I think towards the end, just for information, the focus or the reminder, I guess, is as a collective group, what we can do as a collective group for the community versus individually.
Yep. Which we've been talking about for, as Sean said, for
For a year.
a year.
Yeah.
So, which is really, I think, a good reminder and a good thing for that meeting. That's a meeting where you have all the boards come together and it would be a great opportunity for us to have more of a discussion. It's a very tight time frame.
Yeah, it's not.
It's at 7 a.m. and
Madam Chair,
we have our meeting, but
there was a discussion about the roundtable discussion with Senator Kupek and Representative Joy. I would suggest if this full board is looking at or more than two are going to that, we'll need to have some sort of,
oh, yes.
We probably should advertise it just in case.
Yes.
I would say.
Good.
I think
idea.
just to be on the safe side, I think
Yep.
we'll just advertise it
and that
as an
was
open meeting.
January, what, 9th?
28th.
28th at 1 o'clock.
one?
There was
One
a
of the
calendar
city.
invite that went out, yeah.
In the same room we're in, yeah.
It just so everybody knows the city is hosting a legislative roundtable with representatives just to talk about the upcoming legislative session and what we would like for priorities for this community. So, okay, anything else for reports and correspondence? Otherwise, we can move on to appointments. Any appointments?
I know
Madam-
there's a Cormorant opening, and I have not heard from anyone. Carrie, has there been any information? So that'll be vacant until we fill it.
Do we have any other openings?
I would think there'd be some in planning and zoning and some reappointments.
Some
Might-
reappointments?
We should probably double check them.
Yeah, I think my
There's got to be some every year, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Okay, we'll move on to County Administrator. We have the Minnesota Power is first on the agenda. So if you guys want to come on up.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Thanks for having me. My name is Drew Janke. I am an environmental compliance specialist with Minnesota Power. Here today to provide an update and a general overview of our Maple River to Cuyuna or MRC transmission line project. I believe we had shared a
Madam Chair,
presentation.
that's north of Fargo to the Brainerd area.
Correct,
Yeah,
yes.
I had to ask that question when I went to one of your sessions. Where exactly does it go? So-
Sure. So yeah, we do have a project overview. We have some slides here that I'll walk through, but if at any point there's questions, please just stop me. Really want this to be more of a discussion than a presentation, but I'll present and hold for questions either during or after. So if you could click to the next slide, please, and even one more there. So a little bit about the project and where the project gets its namesake from. So the Maple River to Cuyuna project really gets its name from the two endpoint substations. The Maple River substation on the western end is a substation owned by Otter Tail Power. And then on the eastern end is the Cuyuna substation, just outside of the Brainerd-Baxter area. And that one is owned by Minnesota Power. The project itself will be co-owned by Minnesota Power, Otter Tail Power Company, and Great River Energy. It is a new approximately 160-mile, depending on final routing, single circuit 345 kilovolt transmission line project built on double circuit capable structures. The project will initially operate as a single circuit. However, we are proposing to hang both sets of conductors, so 6 wires total, 3 on either side, which we'll get into some of the structures here. Initially, those wires would be jumpered together or connected to operate as a single circuit. So when the time comes, we're unsure at this point, but roughly 10 to 15 years down the road, to energize a second circuit, we would remove those jumpers and energize a second circuit. If you could, next slide, please. A little bit on why we're proposing the project. Really, the need is boiled down into 4 major points. It's to enhance the reliability of the regional transmission grid. So really broader regional transfers of electricity, increasing transmission system capacity to meet that growing electrical demand on either side of the project. So the electricity is bidirectional. It can flow either east or west, depending on where the need is greatest at any time, and enabling cost-effective regional transfers, as I touched on. Next slide. A little further or wider overview and where the project fits in at the regional scale. So the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, or MISO, is a federally approved electric system operator for a majority of the Midwest. MISO's territory covers portions of 15 different states, as well as the Canadian province of Manitoba. And MISO, among other things, is tasked with ensuring the reliability of the electrical system or the electric grid. And every so often, MISO will review the system and either approve or deny projects that they deem as, it's called a multi-value project. And recently, in December of 2024, MISO approved Tranche 2.1, essentially a batch of projects aimed at upgrading the electric grid. And the MRC project is one of 24 projects that was approved in December of 2024 by MISO. What you're seeing here in the figure, all of the lines, either dashed red or dashed green, are part of that recent Tranche 2.1 portfolio. And then the lines that you see in gray were part of the first batch or Tranche 1 batch of projects. And so you kind of get an idea of how all of these transmission system projects correlate and connect. Next slide, please. Touched on this a bit. So again, the project's roughly 160 miles, give or take, depending on final routing. And once we get through the permitting process, which I'll touch on in a few slides here. So next slide. Timeline, where we've been and really where we're going here last year already with 2025 was really heavy in the stakeholder engagement. We did host a couple of rounds of public open houses. First round was in June, and we started with a really broad study area, which we have a figure, I believe, on the next slide. In October, we held a second round of public open houses. And at that round, we were able to show a more condensed view in what we are calling preliminary routes, which is where we're currently at. From those preliminary routes, we're going to narrow down even further into a preferred route and then eventually into a proposed route that will go to both the Minnesota State Public Utilities Commission as well as the North Dakota Public Service Commission. Through this year and really for the next couple of years, we'll progress with permitting, really hit the ground with engineering and environmental surveys once we have a preferred route narrowed down a bit more. Assuming all goes well, construction would commence in 2029, and the project would be in service by no later than 2033. Next slide. So this is that initial study area that I referenced. I guess for reference here, there's a couple of black S's there on the figure. On the far left or northwest portion is the Maple River substation just outside of Fargo. And then on the far right or southeast portion of the map here is the Cuyuna substation. And what you see highlighted generally in blue are existing transmission lines with a 1.5 mile buffer or 3 miles total wide off of those existing transmission lines. So our policy, and really we're following state routing criteria, is to co-locate or route alongside existing high voltage transmission lines as much as feasible. And the definition of a high voltage transmission line is anything over 100 kilovolts. So really anything that functions as a transmission line versus a distribution line, which connects more into residences. So we started with this initial broad study area. And if you could click to the next slide, please. We condensed it down into what we're calling preliminary routes. So you can see the change here, really cut out a large portion of the southwest area of that initial study area. Among other things, a big driver for that was Glendalough State Park in the far southwest portion of the study area. The state park is sandwiched between two lakes, so it was tough to conceive a route that would make sense through that area. There's high residence density throughout certain pinch points along the area, but there were certainly those factors as well that helped us to remove the southwest portion. If you could click to the next slide, it just shows the preliminary routes a bit better. From this, we're working to come up with a preferred route that makes the most sense. So this will be refined even further. I mentioned we did have those 2 rounds of public open houses last year. We are planning for a 3rd round of public open houses in late March. We're still working to nail down venues, dates, and times, but really we're looking at the end of March. And at that point, we hope to have this refined down further to get feedback on what we would have as a preferred route. Next slide. I touched on this a bit earlier here, but we'll be dealing with permitting processes in both states. About 95% of the project is anticipated in Minnesota. And so we will be going to the Public Utilities Commission for two types of permits. The first one, as you see there, is a certificate of need, which is essentially just like it sounds. We go to the Public Utilities Commission, fairly thick application packet outlining why the project is needed and in the interest of our consumers and the general public. And then the second type of permit is the route permit, and that is the one where we go to the commission with a proposed route on a map for them to review and consider. Typically, these applications would be filed in a combined application. However, in this case, we need a little more time to develop a proposed route that's going to make sense. So the certificate of need application will go in first, likely by the end of January, at the latest by February 6th. And then right now we anticipate the route permit being filed right around August of this year. I'll note that through both of these processes, there's all sorts of opportunities for public comment. And through the route permit process, anyone can propose alternative routes for the commission to consider. So just because we propose it doesn't necessarily mean that's what comes out on the back end. Next slide. And then similarly, across the river, we will be going to the North Dakota Public Service Commission, which operates in a similar function to the Minnesota PUC. And we will be going for a certificate of public convenience and necessity, which is similar to the certificate of need here in Minnesota, as well as a certificate of corridor compatibility and route permit, which is similar to the route permit process in Minnesota. Next slide. So again here, kind of outlining our routing process, where we've been and where we're headed. So we started with that initial study area, had that initial round of public open houses. From there, took feedback both from the public and from agencies that we've been meeting with, identified our preliminary routes, which is where we're currently at. Again, planning a third round of these open houses, taking that feedback, getting down into a proposed route, and then proceeding through the state permitting process. Next slide. Some of the considerations we take into account and really what we're asking both the public and agencies for feedback on to come up with a proposed route that makes the most sense is not only, we know what sort of constraints we need to avoid, and there's a long list of them, but we also want to hear if there are routing opportunities or suggestions. We take all sorts of feedback. Try to get as much feedback up front as we possibly can so we can make adjustments up front rather than at the 11th hour. Next slide. So once we do have a preferred route or proposed route, we will go into the field and do field level studies, which further drives our routing, starting with geotechnical surveys. So those really drive our structure design, where we can place the poles and structures, but then also a full suite of environmental surveys from cultural and archaeological resources to wetland and water body delineations and surveys, and then a full suite of biological surveys. And we do consult pretty closely with both the Department of Natural Resources and then typically informally with the Fish and Wildlife Service on those surveys. Next slide. So here is a drawing of our typical preferred structure design. So steel monopole, anywhere from 120 to 180 feet in height, depending on the topography and where we're at. This is a double circuit capable structure. So one electrical circuit hangs on 3 conductors on one side of the pole, and then that second circuit hangs off the other side. The right-of-way width for a standalone 345 kilovolt transmission line is 150 feet wide. In a co-location scenario, which is what we're aiming for as much as possible, and if you could click to the next slide, please. There is opportunity to overlap that 150-foot right-of-way with an existing right-of-way by up to 30 feet. So in this figure here, you'll note there in the middle, there's an overlap of 30 feet. So off of that existing 230 kilovolt right-of-way, we would go 120 feet additional off of an existing right-of-way in this scenario. You'll note, the structures are about twice as tall as your typical wooden H-frame 230 kilovolt transmission line structures. So quite a bit taller than what folks might be used to currently.
When you co-locate like that, are you purchasing the shared space also again?
Correct, yep.
You're buying it again?
Yep, so the easement would be the full 150 foot, regardless of overlap. Next slide. So I mentioned the steel monopole is our preferred design. In some scenarios where typically it's poor soil conditions, really driven by that geotechnical survey we do, we may need to explore lattice tower structure options like the two on the right. Those are four-legged structures compared to the single pole that we prefer. And I guess for reference, these lattice tower structures, the four-pole footprint is about 30 foot by 30 foot. We prefer the monopole. Typically, landowners prefer it as well, especially farmers or those with agricultural land prefer the monopole. But so those are some of the structures we may be looking at. Next slide. This one just shows, pre-construction into operation phasing. So we would begin with that initial surveying and then begin right-of-way clearing. From there, stake out the structure locations, pour foundations with anchor bolts, stand up the structures, string the wires, and then after energization, there is a cleanup and restoration phase that we need to achieve before the project is deemed fully operational.
I just got one question. Sorry to interrupt. So you're only putting in one new circuit though, but it's the capabilities of having two. So you could add another circuit without doing another right away and, okay.
Yep, that's correct. And actually, so through the MISO approval process, it was approved on structures built as double circuit capable for that exact, consideration. Next slide, please. So I believe this is the end of my spiel here, but just to, I guess, recap and make people aware, we do have a project website that we update pretty frequently. We also have a phone hotline as well as an email hotline. Folks can leave comments on the project website. So we do interact with folks as comments come in as much as we can. We've had 2 rounds of public open houses. We are planning for a 3rd round here, as I mentioned, in March. And then, lots of engagement both now and a lot more probably to come as we move forward. So that is it. I will hang out for questions.
Madam Chair, Drew, what will this board's responsibility be when or if this does happen? Or is this already taken care of by the Public Utilities Commission? Will there be any decisions this board has to make concerning this?
We don't anticipate any decisions required by the board. Really, we're doing these project overviews just so you all are informed in case you do get questions from your constituents. But the Public Utilities Commission route permit, it supersedes local zoning ordinances.
Okay, that's what I was at. So they're the authority on this, and
that's correct.
It's similar to if there's a solar farm or if there's a wind farm that gets to be a certain point in size, the county doesn't have any official capacity for determination. It goes to the state. So if the Public Utilities approves this, does that, and if there's landowners not willing to cooperate, the Public Utilities permit kind of is the condemnation?
Correct. And we do try to work with landowners as much as possible, and we try to avoid that condemnation process. But yes, once the certificate of need and route permit is issued, that does trigger that condemnation authority.
I got one more. So I think it was 2 summers ago, Detroit Lakes, here in Detroit Lakes, they were recommending that businesses come up with what you could shut out, if they'd turn power off.
Brownouts.
Yeah, whatever it's called, yeah. And is that going to alleviate that, when this is up and running, will that solve that problem?
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Yep, this whole long-range transmission planning, the MISO approval process is really intended to increase reliability and relieve congestion that's blocked at some areas.
So, did you say we're sending power to Manitoba? Is that right?
So Manitoba is part of MISO. So the province is covered under MISO's purview, and it's part of the same interconnected electric grid. It goes either direction.
Electricity can go either direction?
Correct.
Yeah, you just got to turn the switch around.
Interesting.
All right. Well, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda, we have Minnesota Red River Valley Development Association by Bruce Hine.
Morning, Bruce.
Morning, Bruce.
Morning.
Morning, Bruce.
Just so everyone knows, the transmission lines are going south, that go south of Audubon and Lake Park, cut through Bruce's property quite heavily, and of course some of our properties also.
My property is right down the middle of this one.
Yeah, so it's
Did the gentleman leave just now?
he's outside. Yep.
Okay. Anyway. And I intended, or I guess I brought that comment forward because I would have rather had him hear it. But anyway, they insist on co-locating these lines. And Erica knows very well out there, the boys that were at the meeting from Wolf Lake were talking about, if you own a 40-acre field, you already have one line going through that makes it almost impossible for aviation, irrigation, even larger machinery we have now. But they insist on having another line right next to it, and it almost makes that 40 acres unusable for farming. And of course, I've suggested that they go from their line, they could go straight across all the way to Highway 59 by using road ditches, so there wouldn't be any farmer that has a pole in their field. But they refuse to even look at that kind of a project. And so anyway.
Why do they refuse to look at that? Road ditches?
Because somehow the state and the federal have said, whenever possible, we're going to co-locate these lines. They have no consideration for the person who owns the property, even though they pay an upfront fee and so on. The last time it came through in the late 40s, $1. And you live with that the rest of your life for $1. And I don't care what they pay. When you've got kids out there that are operating your farm machinery and you run into a power pole or have an accident out there, it's a life-changing event.
Yep.
And, there's no reason that they couldn't follow those lines, especially when they can go straight across without affecting anyone's field. And a lot of places they could go that whole distance without even going by a farmstead. And I've gone through this many times with them. So, but anyway, maybe you guys could have more influence on them than a poor guy like me. But anyway.
I think we know our influence there also.
Yeah, well, it's kind of one of those things.
It is difficult. We farm around these. I think the ones we farm are the bigger, or the quads, and now if you commingle. And there's we can share some of that space. Well, it doesn't do us any good because your machinery can't fit in between the two if they're parallel next to each other. Now you got to fold up booms, and you got to farm in between them. You got to fold up to get in between them. So that it's not it's not a positive. I mean, it'd be better if they're on the edge of on the section lines anyway, or something like that, but.
And they tend not to even consider that. I'm not sure, I can't understand why. I've asked the question so many times and I haven't really gotten a good answer. But anyway, that's, some of you know Gladwin Walker. Back in the 70s, when I was the ag teacher at Frazee, I was out helping those guys spray for armyworms, and they were trying to spray around these poles. Well, they'd bring these pilots in and they'd say, yeah, we'll spray the outside of the field, but the middle of the field we can't do because there's a power pole there. Well, they had a good crop on this side of the quarter. They had a good crop on this side of the quarter. The center of the quarter there was nothing. I mean, literally nothing for them to harvest
Something to take into consideration.
in the fall. So, and of course, once you add another line in, other than the fact that they somehow seem to think that, well, this, we've already got this right away, so we add another 100 feet or whatever, that's going to be easier. Well, I don't think it's going to be any easier for them. But anyway, that's not really what I came here today for.
That's all right. We opened the can of worms.
I knew there was a button there to.
Yeah, well, anyway, we've been kind of fighting with power lines forever, and common sense seems to be lacking, but, and of course, it's not their job to consider what landowners feel, but it makes for some really tough deals. But anyway, what I'm here to talk about today is the Red River Valley Development Association. The association is an association of 14 counties in northwest Minnesota. They've been in operation since 1914, so 112 years. Becker County was one of the founding counties, the original member, and has been active in it ever since. And it's an organization that was very interested in community involvement and rural leadership. From the very beginning, that's kind of the thread that's been going through the organization. There have been many different things. Now, do you have the copy of the?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it just on what you have here or what you have at your desk?
No, we have it on here.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, I've been your director for 34 years and have been president of the organization for almost 30 years. And so that brings me down to our activities that we work on today. I'll start out with the Outstanding Leaders Award that we give out. This used to be the major focus of this organization. We used to have a banquet in Crookston. And at that time it was called the Red River Valley Farmer Homemaker Program. And of course, that's been changed to Rural Leaders since then. We used to have a banquet. It was a very prestigious banquet. In 2014, the year of our 100th anniversary, we were contacted by Governor Dayton, and they asked us if it would be all right if the governor attended our banquet. And they told us that, well, because this is the most prestigious agricultural get-together in northwest Minnesota, they wanted the governor to attend. Well, of course, he ended up getting sick and wasn't able to attend, but anyway, our banquets were really great, and I think Barry has mentioned it a number of times. Jerry, of course, had been there along with us when he was a commissioner. Anyway, when COVID came along, we were not allowed to have a banquet, and our partner at that time was the Extension Service, and they kind of got used to not having all that work of helping us put on this banquet. And when COVID was over, and we had already realized that having a banquet and having that one particular part of our program was really not the entire focus of our organization. We had already started expanding some of our other projects, and so we really decided that having a banquet wasn't the best focus. And of course, a lot of people would have to travel 150 miles to go to Crookston for the banquet. a lot of people said, hey, at one time that was a big deal to go to the University of Minnesota in Crookston and go to a banquet. Well, you know, they say, well, we take our kids to Disney World and we go all over the country. Going to Crookston's not that big of a thing anymore. And so we don't have our banquet anymore. And I think that it's better use of our funds that we have, very limited funds, to bolster the funding in other areas. And I'll go through some of those things. We mentioned the Outstanding Leader Program that we still operate, and we give that award at our county fair. And Linda Perrine and Lonnie were the last winners. Let's see, your soil and water guy from Wolf Lake.
Tony Beck.
Tony Beck was the previous one. And I would ask all of those people, I said, are you satisfied with this? They say, oh, we would prefer doing this than to go and get this award 150 miles from home. So anyway, enough about that. Our next program that I'll mention is the Youth Leadership Program. This is a college program now. We used to have applications for that, but now we offer these awards through the University of Minnesota Crookston, which is our closest land-grant college. And we also have started a program this year at M-State, and so we offer awards through that program, leadership awards. There are pretty high standards to win these awards, and I might say that Becker County really comes out on the good side of it. You know, out of 14 counties, and by the way, Otter Tail and Polk County are divided in two, so there are actually 16 units that pay $900 a year to be part of it. We've actually had about a third of the winners or the recipients of this thing over the last 6 years that we've been offering a more expanded program. So we really do well in that area, and there's a reason for that. First of all, we have a very active 4-H program with a really important leadership component to it. We also have ag programs in Frazee, Detroit Lakes, and Audubon Lake Park that are very active, good programs. And then we're ringed by really good programs where Becker County kids go to, like Ulen-Hitterdal, Hawley, Pelican Rapids, Perham, New York Mills, Sabika, and Park Rapids had just started a program. So a lot of Becker County kids go across the border and attend school there. And so when Becker County kids show up in kind of an almost unbalanced relationship to the other counties, that's probably the reason. We have great youth leadership programs here. Our next thing is we're involved with County 4-H. We have County 4-H Leadership Awards. We've been giving those in every county. We also have started a FFA leadership program. This is separate from the other youth leadership program that we have. And then we have a Builder of the Valley program, and you probably see on one of the pages that the list of people, and we've given, and 2 of those have gone to Becker County people. Daggett Truck Lines from Frazee, I guess they won the award when Roxanne Daggett was a state legislator, but you know, they've been a very active thing, and of course they're celebrating their 100th year this year. And then Colin Peterson, you know, we try to shy away from political things if we possibly can, but as you know, Colin was a leader nationally in agriculture, conservation, in the U.S. Forest Service. You know, he was the chairman of the Ag Committee when the Democrats were in power. So he was in charge of all those programs, rural development, and a whole long list of things that he was involved with. And when the Democrats weren't in power, he was the ranking member and long-serving, and that's why he received that. We've had a little bit of, well, we have a lot of conversation about that award, and we have a few people that we feel are would really have earned that award, but we haven't figured out a way to do it now that we don't have a banquet anymore. And I guess our present plan is that our next winner of that award, we probably will offer that award at our county fairs in the district or in the county where those people come from. Okay, the final thing I wanted to mention is the Emerging Leadership Program. About 1985, and I was still involved in what was called the King Agassiz program at the time. It kind of transformed into the Emerging Leadership Program. And that program has just been a wonderful program. And if you look on your books on page 24, you'll see the long list of people that have been involved from Becker County. And I guess what I've asked, and I think I've talked to most of you board members about that, maybe except Barry. Sorry to leave you out, Barry, but anyway, we have a long list of really outstanding rural leaders from our county that have taken this program. And I guess what I've asked is to the commissioners, take a look at that list, and if you see people on there, ask them about the program, and I'm sure you'll get glowing reports about it. In all the years we've offered that program, I've never heard one complaint except that the program does take a lot of time, and it's sometimes a little hard for young families with small kids to be involved in it. That's really the only complaint we've ever heard about it. It's just been so outstanding. Well, and it was offered, we started it as an organization, and it's been offered, Extension was our partner. And recently, of course, the people that retired from Extension that helped to run that program, a good program should be perpetual. It shouldn't end when somebody retires. But anyway, that's what happened. And so they've started a new program called Growing Local Leaders. And they no longer ask our counties to submit people to be involved in it. That's one of the things that really bugs me the most about it. We have a great group of emerging leaders in the past that have formed a county committee that look around to find people to send to this program. It's been very, they've really worked very hard at it. And so what I ask you is take a look at it. Now, we as an organization have already talked to Extension, and we've said, we think you should move back toward that original emerging leadership model. But we're just a little organization. If you looked in your thing, we're supposed to be a quiet, substantially useful regional influence. Emphasis on quiet. In other words, we don't have a lot of political sway or anything, but I think county boards may. Certainly you can't just demand anything of them, but you can certainly make very strong suggestions. And so I've kind of, all of you except Barry, I guess, and of course Barry's the one that probably knows more about our organization than anyone else. So anyway, it's been a great leadership program. And if you look at the list, you'll see people on there that have become county board members like yourselves, township officials, rural leaders of all sorts in our county and throughout the Red River Basin. And it's been just a great program. The program they have now, they had 18 participants where we normally had almost 40 participants before. The first class was 18. The class this year, I understand, is down to 9. And they don't have the programming like we used to have. They just have a kind of an online program. Now, our organization continues to fund them. That part of our program is $4,500, so it's still a substantial part of our money. And but anyway, if you take a look at that and feel that you should comment on it, I hope you would. And kind of brings me down to the last couple of things. Last year at our annual meeting, our Secretary Treasurer has been fighting cancer for a dozen years. And he has continued to do a very good job. But last year, he would always send out the letter asking for appropriations and a report of our activities for the year. Well, last year, Becker County was left out. And I didn't know about that until, well, at the annual meeting, we knew he'd been very sick. And so we all asked him, he said, are you sure you can keep going on? And he said, oh yeah, I can keep going on. He said, and what he told me was, he said, if you notice that I'm not at every Bison game, then you'll have to start thinking about replacing me. That's kind of what he said. Well, anyway, I talked to Kerry. Well, anyway, he sent me a email and saying that this was the very first part of November, saying that his doctors had taken him off all of his medications and put him on hospice, and he was going to have to be resigning his position. And so I called him up right away, and the first thing he told me, he says, well, you know, Becker County hasn't paid their appropriation this year. And I said, well, I've talked to you almost every month all year, and you haven't mentioned that. And so I came in and talked to Kerry about it right away. And of course, I went down that same week and picked up the treasurer and secretary's materials. And we actually had a pretty good visit, but he died 3 days later. And so anyway, when I got the books home, I realized there were actually 6 counties that he had not contacted. And so I called all the directors from those counties, and they visited with their people. And anyway, I ended up having to contact 4 of the counties myself, 3 Becker County and 3 others. And so anyway, I guess I'm here today to ask for your appropriation. We haven't gotten yours yet. Everybody else has paid. I guess I don't know about Clay County and Kitson, because they said, no, we'll take care of that ourselves. So I haven't heard from them yet. But anyway, I hope you continue to fund this program. I think that we have as a group, because we've dropped our banquet and all the emphasis on that rural leadership thing, which is a lifelong award, and it's really a great award, but to change from the main emphasis of that to all the other programs that I think is really a positive, and I think you get a lot more for your investment in that. So with that, if you have any other questions.
I don't, but I do just want to say that, you know, as I said on the phone, I would for sure reach out to our Extension Regional Director, and we have another member of our Extension Committee in the room here that I think we will put it on our next Extension agenda for us to at least have that discussion with Cecilia, because I do think it's important we continue to grow Becker County leadership. You know, we have a good thing going. We don't want it to end. So
How to submit names.
Yep.
For that program. And Bruce, just so you know, we brought it up at the board, our awards program through Extension, we mentioned to commissioners if they know any names that they would like submitted for potential awards for future, to get them to Linda or anyone on the committee.
Right, we'll be meeting next week, I think Wednesday, for our annual program. I think Erica's been invited to come, and Barry has been there the last number of years. Jerry had been involved on that back in the days when he was a commissioner. And so anyway, unless you have other questions.
Yeah, no, I see no reason why we wouldn't continue our support.
Do we need a motion to continue?
It's budgeted already. And are you talking about last year's appropriation or this?
Last year's appropriation was not made because the requests weren't made. And like I say, 6 counties total that didn't get that. How that happened, I can't figure it out. I talked to Mylan's wife. I called her just before Christmas again to just touch base with her, and she said, you know, Mylan was really, really sick this last year and a half. And I realize you guys didn't know that because he had a way of, when he'd come to your meetings, he would bolster himself to go to the meetings, but he really, really was sick. And so I can't explain it. I can only apologize for it. I apologize that you didn't get the report that we annually send out or the appropriation request, but I think you understand that, and I visited with
Yeah.
most of you about
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
We have gotten the request for this year though, correct? Is that,
I did give Carrie a request, and
oh, here it is right here, yeah, okay.
And then I guess I would thank Peggy also for doing this, running this booklet for you and her work. And we have had 3 county commissioners who've been members of our organization in the past 2 years. We also have a treasurer auditor from Clearwater County, Alan Paulson, and he'll be taking over sending the appropriations request and so on. That's part of it. We've kind of broken down Mylan's job into a separate secretary, a separate treasurer, and then another person who handles these appropriations and this part of it. So how Mylan actually did the whole job all by himself for all those years is kind of amazing, and he was kind of an amazing guy, despite the fact that he was such a horrendous Bison fan. Some of you probably heard about Montana State winning last.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish it would have been the Bison too, but
Well, thank you for coming.
Yes,
Okay.
thanks, Bruce.
All right, and Carrie, you'll be in contact about the appropriation? All right,
Thank you, Bruce. Hey, so we are gonna look into this leadership
Yes.
program?
yep.
Because that's I talked to him about it.
Yeah.
Very disappointing, but
Mm-hmm.
it seems to be the way that things are going for rural counties, especially in western Minnesota. We're getting excluded from a lot of different things, so.
yeah, and well, I guess I've visited with you quite a bit, and I'm sorry to take a lot of your time.
That's
No,
okay.
thanks, Bruce, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Always happy to come and.
Yeah.
We're still on
Thank you.
schedule, so that
Yeah.
we must have known that.
When
it
we
was
have
gonna
time,
be-
to probably take a break after this too.
Do we want to break right now?
No, let's
No.
do it easier.
Oh, okay,
No, eventually in about,
You maybe want to do that private session break.
yeah,
okay, that'll work.
okay.
Hope I can make it.
Sorry.
Next on the agenda is the 245th Avenue discussion, so Mike Ingham and Detroit Township members, come on up.
Good morning.
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 Kevin, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, Mike Ingham, Detroit Lakes. I've been here several times before the board. To be honest, I come here in frustration today. I'm frustrated because June 17th, we all appeared in front of you and we had a public motion made that the gate would be resolved on 245th. And I figured we had it put to bed. To get a letter from our attorney saying that the county is not believing it's a public roadway. And so now that's starting to cost me money. And because as a citizen, I have to pay my attorney bills. And I'm frustrated by that. And then the next thing is the south gate is placed across the roadway on the south line. And I can't get my pickup through it with the manner of the way the gate's placed with my tow mirrors. I have to fold them in to get through this new gate that's now placed across the public roadway. In 1993, that gate was placed across the public roadway. The public roadway was posted. I've given the board in the past the pictures of the public posting of the roadway. 20 plus people have access to this roadway. Of those 20 plus people that have access to this roadway are not all members of the ownership of that original piece of land that we talked to in the the southeast quarter of section 17. I hear through the rumor mill that we should take easement through Wayne Schlotterhoff's property. Wayne Schlotterhoff is no longer a part of this southeast section of land. He is given his rights up to the trust of the next group of people. And so there is no access there. There's no access across the Sioux Line Railroadway. The railroad will not grant us access across that. And the access point through Wayne's is private. So if he sells that property, we don't have access. It's just in the fact that he's a relative that it's allowed us to come through. There's no easement there. There's an easement, and I rephrase that. We have public access through the public roadway. That's there. The gate was determined by the board to come down. From my understanding, Steve Skoog hired an attorney through the environmental group to review this. He's not an elected official. He's spending my taxpayers' dollars when this public board made a motion to resolve this problem. And I'm back here today with this. When we left that day, it was determined that the gate would come down, the road would stop being barricaded, the public road would stop being barricaded, which was illegally done in 1993 when the gate went up by the county. So in turn, can we just stop the wrong that started in 1993, remove the gate, and allow the road to act as the access point that it was publicly designed for? That's all I asked for. And stop costing me money after you guys sat and listened to me in June and made a public motion. Now someone behind that's under your guys' umbrella of leadership undermines that and starts costing the LLC group money to have to fight through attorney costs. This is ridiculous, and I'm frustrated that somebody's not listening to the board that's not an elected member. He is an appointed leadership member of your county, and I feel that that's strongly giving you guys the middle finger in the term that he's not listening to you as the board. And it's frustrating me as a citizen and as a taxpayer.
So, oh, sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
So I did go back and look at the notes from that meeting, and the motion that was made was not to remove the gate at that time. The motion that was made was for us to get a quote for fencing to determine what our next steps would be.
Correct. And if the meeting's recorded, you probably hear me multiple times say, we would be willing to work with you for public safety to get the fencing in place to get the gate removed. Mm-hmm. Not to get another gate placed across the roadway that we can't get a vehicle through. And mind you, forest management, which we have to be mindful of this piece of property, we do need to log this sooner than later. If I can't get my 3/4 ton pickup through, how's a semi getting through? Mm-hmm. We're being ignorant. It feels retaliatory that, when we come to the board, now the next thing we're putting up gates that aren't big enough to get vehicles through. And it's going across the same public roadway that we recognized at that meeting to take down on the other end. It's awkward. Mm-hmm. So,
Madam Chair, has the committee discussed this at all?
No, we haven't, and this is what, just a little bit.
Yes,
So
we did.
small, but I said again, the direction that I believe we gave to him was we're getting rid of the gate. He was going to get some pricing for some fencing, okay? And he's never mentioned an attorney. I wish he would have, because and I think he should pay for the attorney's opinion. It's a really weak attorney's opinion. It's very sad that what we've done to my neighbors, and this is my district, and that's my public road. It's always been a public road. It just wasn't registered, but it's a public road. There's a thing called adverse possession. You don't need to be an attorney here to see. They've been using this road for 100 years.
I was going to point that out, to you, whether it's public
not,
or.
There isn't, they don't have a legal, that's the worst opinion I ever seen. He wasn't given all the information. This is very sad what's going on, that these guys got to take their time out. All these guys are busy, and they got to come in here and go through this again. I know the direction that was given that day because Mr. Skoog sat back there and shook his head. I wish there was a camera. He knew the direction that was given that day. And so I'm very disappointed, and I'm sorry, fellas, that I wasn't more on top of this. I thought it was done.
Commissioners, I address you again in the respectful manner that 1986, 1989, 1991, the mileage township reports where the county gives tax back to the township for the road mileage. T9 or 529 is the road that we in question are talking about. 579, thank you. So the county's paid tax on this road. So back to the public conversation, is it a public roadway or not? It was recognized back before the gate ever went up as this roadway. And so in turn, and it's still posted that way. There's still a posting. If it had been vacated, the first thing that we would have done first thing the township would have done is take the public posting of the roadway down. It's never been vacated. It's publicly posted. It's still on the gate today, the gate that they put up over.
Madam Chair, a question for the township or Kevin. What do you see as a resolution?
Well-
Remain a township road
Well,
and clarify that it is a township road if need be?
well, here's the fact that just really frustrates us is that has been a township road since way back into the 40s. I've talked to people with the township neighbors and that type of stuff. There's never been an issue if that's a township road. I mean, at one time there was several families living back there. I mean, the school bus used it. It was graded. It was maintained. It's only since 1993 or 94, approximately right in there, when it was illegally gated. I mean, we look back through our minutes, through everything. We've talked to everybody we can possibly talk to. And how on God's green earth the county thought they could put a gate up across the township road just totally baffles us. I mean, there's even recordings in the Becker County Courthouse that, like with the early property when it was sold, the west line was the township road.
I'm just trying to think what our resolution or what our direction
we
here
need-
today will be
If we did the wrong thing by gating it, we need to take the gate down. It was mentioned to me, what's the county's liability if somebody gets hurt back there and the ambulance driver doesn't have a bolt cutter? You know, when you start talking about legal opinions here, and it is, that's my township road. I want it back. There was no public hearing vacating that township road. This board has done things wrong in the past, and some of it's unbelievable, and this is one of them. And what we need to do is get the gate down and quit causing trouble for these taxpayers. I can't believe it's gone this way.
Well,
Could I please?
yep,
So based off our last meeting, it was a gray area when the gate was gonna come down. As soon as we left that meeting, I addressed these guys and I said, we should have given a deadline on the date. When the gate was, deadline on the date on when the gate was coming down. We made a mistake there. We assumed the fence was gonna go up and the gate would come down at some point. Now that leads us to this date, today.
Commissioners,
We
I
need to set
propose,
a date on today, resolving this issue, Barry, by setting a date when we're gonna take the gate down, when the fence is up, and we can put this to bed.
So I
This is
think-
blown up into something much larger than where it should have been.
so I think one of the issues with us setting a date is, anybody here can correct me if I'm wrong, that we can't take the gate down until the fence is up because of MPCA regulations.
Well,
So-
ma'am, I understand that, but that hasn't been properly fenced for the entirety. The south line has never been fenced. So it hasn't been secure. I truly understand and respect your decision there, but it's kind of ironic to me that now it's a concern today when it hasn't been properly fenced since 1993. It's only been fenced on the north and the west and the east. It's never been fenced on the south. And so it's always had openness, if you want to, it's never been indescribed. I don't disagree with what your opinion is. My request today is please take the gate off the north and the south side and please fence it along the township right-of-way road edge and to the ownership of the property of the landfill and leave the road open.
So
we don't have anything to say. This board doesn't have anything to say about that township road. I don't even know why you're asking us. This is what I told them. Take it down. And for $1, I offered them, when I found out that we had a legal opinion to hurt the township and these property owners, I have a worn backhoe, a rubber tire backhoe in the shop, and I offered the township supervisors for $1. I'll take that gate down. This is ridiculous.
Richard,
Well, it's ridiculous.
I don't disagree. I'm not saying I don't.
We don't have any say, and we act like we do. We don't have any say. It's a township road. What are we
This is a
doing?
matter that we want to resolve it.
Well, do you
I
want to
mean,
go to court with these guys?
I don't
'Cause
think
they're
we-
ready.
I don't think we should.
Well, it
saying
should-
that. I
I
just.
think we should all apologize to them.
Well, I certainly apologize for the delay and the miss,
So,
but
I do
there are
apologize.
solutions and we just have to get.
What I'm asking is that you give us 30 days. We have I'm not going to say 30 days to take the gate down because but 30 days for us to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we can provide you something in writing.
Madam Chair, okay, I'm going to disagree with Richard a little bit on this. What I thought happened back in June, yes, we talked about the fencing a little bit if we had to do this. Then the MPCA came into it. We got to be careful about that because we got a landfill there. So I remember saying, hey, let's get what our attorney thinks. He had already said that, hey, I'm a little aloof on the situation. So he asked a township attorney who we know well, Troy Gilchrist. He knows township law. He came back with his opinion, which you're right. It does
That's a crap. That's the worst. Phil, whoever pays for it gets the opinion they want. If this
So
is not,
I went a little bit further and I asked, what does the road certificate say? Well, they haven't collect road tax. Detroit Township has not claimed that as a road since 1993. 1993, 92, 93, something happened. And that's what we're all trying to
That's
figure
when
out.
it
Am I
became
right
a
there?
Minimum maintenance road.
That's when the gate went up.
No, it didn't become a minimum maintenance road because you stopped accepting gas tax on it in 1992 or 93.
That's right.
They're
It's a
still
minimum
posted to this
maintenance
day,
road.
Phil. If you drive up there, it's
Okay.
posted.
We collect road on our minimum maintenance roads.
We don't turn it in on ours. That's
Okay,
just the difference.
so
How can we expect to collect maintenance fees if we're not maintaining it? There was no need to maintain it, so we did the right thing and we didn't collect money that we didn't have coming to us. That's the reason we did that.
I want to do the right thing too.
well, no.
But I want to
there is
do,
I'm just going to tell you something. This will not stand in any court. You know what adverse possession is? Do you
I
know
don't.
that people have been using that road for over 100 years?
Adverse possession does not say it's a township road, though.
It doesn't matter.
It
If you've
gives
been
you-
using a piece of
It gives
property,
you access to your property.
So I
if
don't-
you've been using something for so
I
many
struggle
years,
with the fact
it's
that the illegal operation of gating this back in
Yeah.
93 is now benefiting you when you did the illegal act as the county then. That's where I'm at with this, Phil, is that you can't go and take a wrong and make it into a right
and that's
30
what you're
years
trying to
later.
do. This was
And I
wrong.
struggle with this because in turn, I get it as a taxpayer. I don't want to buy any more fence. But in turn, I don't have any options as a landowner.
I think one of
And
the
it's a public
questions,
road and it's my access point.
one of the things
Get
that
the
we
gate
had
off.
questions was what we required for on fencing. I think that was one of the questions that we had for us.
That was the only question.
That what are
I
the
left
requirements?
That's what I thought the question.
And
it wasn't just the cost of the fencing, is can we do that? I mean, we've got part of our campus on the other side of that road. So we have a C&D landfill on the other side. You know, we need to get through there daily. I mean, I'm looking out for what's best for the county too. I want whatever happens to be cleared up and I want to take care, give you guys access. I want that. I want both.
You're delaying us finishing our work as a LLC on the purchase because there's a discrepancy between the county attorney access and our attorney, and it's upholding our business on our end. I left here in June thinking that it was resolved by a public motion that this was done. And in turn, we still don't have our transfer of land completely recorded yet because of this discrepancy. And now you're hiring attorneys making us fight it backwards when it was illegal in 1993. So I say, please acknowledge the public roadway, figure out your budget on fencing it. I'm sorry that you have to spend the money, but please, as a landowner, recognize that it's public and so we can get on with our private business.
You know, it's simple. I want to protect the county whenever I can, but when the county's done something wrong, I don't want to protect them. When the state of Minnesota has all this fraud down here, do I want to protect these people? Absolutely not. This was wrong. That's my township road. It should have never been gated. Like I said, we're going to make another wrong? No. This is really simple. There's a right and a wrong way to take care of these people. These are our people. They are the county.
Well,
Let's do the right
So-
thing. Let's quit messing with them and get the gate down.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can I get some public acknowledgement to where we're headed here? And then we're done. I
What-
think we've exhausted our
Yeah,
option.
yes.
Madam Chair, what I was going to say is whether it's a township road or whether it's not is, to me, somewhat irrelevant. We have to provide access to your property. And that's been a road in existence for who knows how
The
long.
township attorney's opinion, I do not see that the county is obligated to provide the owners access to the subject property. Now, I want to provide access.
Well, where does he
This is
expect us
his
to get it
opinion. This
from?
is a township attorney who
Where does
worked
he
at
expect
Minnesota.
us to get it
But-
from?
So, all right, guys, listen,
Yeah.
we're not going to get anywhere today. What I had previously said was, give us 30 days. Let us try to figure this out. We'll look at the estimate for fencing and we'll give you an answer in 30 days.
I think the
don't know
the
if that's-
options.
I don't even agree with that,
No.
but whatever.
That's not acceptable. That's
No.
not.
Well, that's what I can-
Because it
that's
kinda
what I can
counteracts your
offer.
motion.
Okay, just.
It doesn't go against our motion. Our motion was to get an estimate for fencing.
I think you guys should take your gate down. And then let us sue you and let us pay for the attorney. That's what I would do, because
Yes,
you're
Mr.
gonna win.
Olson.
And then you don't have to put up with this crap. I would just go take that gate down today and go ahead and call the pollution control agency and tell them where we're at, because we can't treat our people right. And we can't do the right thing. There's a right thing and a wrong thing. The wrong thing was done to gate my road. That's my township road. It should have never been gated. If somebody gets hurt back there, you want a legal opinion, Phil, it's who's ever paying that. What's he say about people using that road for 100 years and you think you can take that away? What attorney would say that? I know you can't take that away. I don't have any kind of legal education, but I know this. If I was you guys, I'd take the gate down and let us worry about it.
Mr. Olson, you had
That's what
something to
I
say.
would do.
Thank you, Commissioner Varberg, but we want to work with you. We're not here trying to be adversarial.
And
But
we're not,
we are
yes.
getting very, very frustrated. I sent an email to the county asking them to send me some proof as the board chair, showing me where that township road was ever vacated or what gave you permission to even put that gate up there in the beginning. Nothing was ever sent back to me. Okay, so that right away tells me that you guys did something that was not right. So all we're asking is, please help these people. As time goes on, there's different land ownerships and different things are gonna change. It's not gonna get any less severe being able to have access to that land. So we might as well address it, get it taken care of now, so these guys can do what they want with that land, whether it's develop it, log it, do whatever. We want to work with you, but we are getting very frustrated. And quite honestly, you guys did something very illegal that,
Well, we didn't.
I didn't.
no,
The
no,
county,
but
the county.
did.
Yes.
And-
Phil,
and-
I've went back and read the county agendas minutes from back in '93. There's no conversation in the minutes of the board to put up this gate. There's conversation that Jack Murray, the commissioner that was a part of Detroit Township, came to the Detroit Township meeting and discussed it openly. But no motions and nothing of that nature ever got made in no hearings of vacating this road. I've done the legwork on that, and so in turn, it comes back that there is no legal recording of us allowing the gate to go up. So it just got gated and acknowledged that it got gated.
So
Madam
what
Chair.
I can tell you, yes, go ahead, Commissioner Nelson.
I think what if we could give some direction, I believe, and this is my opinion, that we should provide access through that so-called township road, or by, whether it's not a township, if it's not a township road, then it's their access point. It's been their access point. I think they could argue that in court and have a very solid case that this is our
Yes.
contiguous. We could ask this, I think it's 7 years if we've used this to access our property and then done some maintenance. I think they have a solid point there. So I believe that this is going to be the access point in the future for them. I think if we can come to some sort of acknowledgement and saying, we'll find a resolution for you to use this as as a township road or a private road, whatever it is. I think that's what we indicated at our last meeting, and I think if we reiterate that that's the direction that we want to go, whether it's a township road or a private road that we privately maintain, is something that we can work out how we get to that point. But I believe that this is the access point for their property, and they need to be confident that we will work to that end.
A judge would decide that. I know he would.
Well, I think for me, I'm not prepared to make any decisions because I have not read this legal opinion, and I don't
Have you guys seen
know.
this? You guys seen this?
Yes.
Okay. So you just disagree with it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's factual because I don't think all the facts are known to this attorney. That's what I think.
And
I
the
don't
legal-
think that he knows that it's been publicly
The
posted.
legal
I don't
opinion-
think he knows how much access has been to this roadway and used how much.
The legal opinion doesn't carry a lot of weight with me because what's right? I mean, to me,
No,
it might not it might win in court, but it doesn't win in.
That's not
in-
gonna win in court. They've
Well,
been
you- I
using
mean, I'm
this
just
road
saying-
for 100 years. Everybody knows that when you've been using something, Barry, if you'd been farming part of my land for 100 years, guess what? It's yours. That's the way it is.
No, it's not.
Well,
It has to be a fence
Well,
line or road or
I
something.
know for a fact that a township road or a road that's been maintained by township for 7 years automatically becomes a township road. Even if it was not recorded, even if it's not intended to be a township road. There is court law to prove that. So, I mean, the fact that it's a township road is not an issue.
John,
I think
didn't you
I'm-
ride the school bus down that road to pick up the
But I
Pearl
think,
family?
I think the thing for all of us in this room to remember is none of us are attorneys. None of us are going to be arguing it in a court, and we both, everybody has something potentially to lose. So I think that let's take a little bit of time. Let us figure out what we're going to do and go from
Well,
there.
if this board can't give a direction.
I think we can.
I think we need to give direction to Carrie to lead this, to get through this
And-
as a board.
Yes.
Right now. I mean, whether
do.
it's, we want to fight this or we want to find
Yeah.
a solution for this. And I think we should find a solution.
We should
as
find it. It's the
I-
right
As we
thing to
guided
do.
before.
I agree.
I
we
think
should
finding
find
a solution, but we don't have the solution
No,
right
we
now.
do. We do have a solution. We put up a fence like we were supposed to do on both sides. That's the solution. Give the township back the road, give them their legal access. That's the right thing to do. They should have never gated it. It was wrong. It's wrong today. Let's get the fence up and get the gate down. It's simple.
Madam Chair.
It's so simple.
Madam Chair, just looking out for the county, I do want to give access. Okay, let's say we do fence both sides of that. Like I said, I mean, there'll have to be gates
Yeah.
to open up and close daily
Yeah, big deal.
to
Get
get
out and
back.
open the
And I
gate.
don't know if you have to close the gates after you go. I don't know, because the public will be able to come down there. I don't know those things.
Well,
But
the gate will take it
No,
off
the-
their land and it'll gate our land to
That's
access
like
our
it should
property.
but we need to get
Correct.
on both sides of that.
Then we have two
Yeah,
gates.
Then we have
it's
two
two
gates.
gates.
Two
It's
gates.
just two
I
gates.
thought
Already
that,
have
Well,
one.
just,
I thought that's what we kind of were going
And that's,
for.
that's what
I
I
thought so,
believe
too.
the direction this board.
We need
Uh,
a date, please. Set a date
Yeah.
today when you're gonna close it, and that will start this process.
That's what we should do. I don't need to hear
I
any
guess
more.
I'm not
legal
prepared to
opinions.
set a
To
date.
close
No.
what?
Take the gate off, set a date today, that will start this process, and that'll facilitate or
get
Let's
the
just do the
sense of
right
urgency to
thing.
get it done, I guess, what we're asking.
Well, I think there's two issues here. One is the inappropriate gate for you right now. And the second is that may have to stay up until we can get appropriate.
What
You know
would, what
it.
would help me is a motion that you're gonna agree to open this up. Because then I can go forward with this, that the fact that now I have legal access that can be recorded on this township road and identify that I can move my stuff forward. The gate date, that I'm flexible on as long as you just put something in a formal motion that it notes that it's coming down.
What you're asking me to do, just to say, you're asking me to make a motion and vote on something when I don't have all the information. I haven't read this legal opinion, and so I don't know what that legal opinion says, and I'm not prepared to make a motion based on that.
I am.
Well, I mean, you
Madam
can,
Chair,
but I'm not.
maybe it's appropriate to bring a formal motion back to our next meeting to give you a solid date? Would that, I mean, to give a timeline and, I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean, I think at our next, and,
Then
2
we'll set a
weeks?
date.
2 weeks, we meet in 2 weeks again.
I mean, and that would give us time to get some more information just to make sure we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's to make this official, to say, and maybe we can look into if we can get confirmation whether it is or, well, I don't think we can get confirmation whether it is, but how to make that a township road then? How to,
That's
how-
not the
how
point,
to
that
make,
is
how
the
to,
township
how to make
road.
it how to clarify that is a township road then?
Well,
It is, I
it's
can
signed as a township road right now, and
And I could show you back before the
Okay.
gate went up where it was
So,
township road.
do we agree to putting it back on the agenda on January 20th? Is that our next?
Here's your warning, county. This township's giving you a warning. You have the 1st of March and that gate's coming down. We'll take it down. And there's your warning. You can work on your fence, you can work on anything else. 1st of March, we're taking the gate down.
Madam Chair, is there any other reasonable, acceptable access point besides that road that you would consider?
Not that I know of, sir. Not, and the reason why I
Is that-
say that, because the easterly line is all Sioux Line Railroad. And obviously there's no access across that. And then the northerly line is either a swamp, which is created by the pumping of the water from the landfill, which I'm fine with. It's actually been doing well for the habitat. So it can, but it prevents our access. So it has to, this road is really the only access point. And if it's, the township is on board, it is a road. It's already in place. It just comes down to the gate.
So your answer was you would consider another access
I
point?
don't know that there
if
isn't.
there was one,
There isn't one.
or one created?
We looked into this before.
Yeah, I
We
know.
did look into it. We couldn't find any other access.
Yeah.
I asked about this, the Canadian Pacific. They said absolutely not. They're not going to let groups of people cross this. The other side is a swamp. It would be hugely expensive. But the bottom line is this is a township road and we don't have any say. And you guys have been really, really good. But, and I wouldn't be as good as you were if I was on the township. And I really appreciate what you do for us. And so I am not going to punish you for doing your job. And I'm going to apologize that.
Madam
this
Chair,
happened.
so nobody knows why that gate was put in. Is that correct?
Oh, we
Yeah,
know.
we know.
It was
Well, but nobody can find any documents to support.
It was-
Was it MPCA? What was it?
It was to meet the MPCA fencing agreement when they dug out the landfill.
You're sure of that?
100%. Yes.
Well, MPCA required that gate,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it was done appropriately.
Yes. And that's,
It never was.
and that's the whole, like,
Here's an example. I own land on both sides of 230th Avenue. I run cattle. I would love to put gates across that goddamn road so I could run them back and forth. You think if I did that, the sheriff wouldn't be out there an hour later?
Well,
That's exactly what the county did on our township road.
do you think the MPCA in your situation might not be out there later? I mean, we got to figure that out too.
But it's.
It ain't none of their
we-
business.
In talking to the old timers, the ones that are still alive and still know something about it, it was just a courtesy of the Schlotterhoff family and the neighbors to allow them to temporarily put that gate up there. It turned into 35 years later, that gate is still there. And now it's become an issue because they need access back.
Why would it have only been put up there temporarily?
Until they could find a solution to do something.
So they were really
Okay,
good,
got a little bit of a situation.
good to us, and
Commissioner
now we're
Hanson,
being bad.
it also goes in the same sense. They never finished the gate, the fencing around the rest of the property. That gate was, only went for a quarter mile down each side. The rest of the south end of that property has been open since that time the gate went up in 93.
Well, I think the original idea was that fencing would have been completed, hence no need for the gate.
Correct, but it never got finished. I don't know if it ran out of money or why. I don't know, sir.
Well, we will put this on the agenda for our next board meeting.
They're taking the gate down in March.
1 March, that gate's coming down.
Commissioners, thank you. I'm sorry if I feel a little frustrated, but I think you can understand. I appreciate your time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Apologize.
you.
for-
Apologize for the
So-
problems.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, these have been some pretty intense discussions in our subcommittee meetings. That's probably why it hasn't come back here. We were waiting for this.
I was
for a
not waiting
while.
for that. I had
was-
no
I
idea that
was.
that
So,
was being done. If I'd have known that was being done, I could have warned those
Well-
guys. We should be ashamed of ourselves you should be ashamed of yourself for trying to take my township road.
Okay,
Geez, what's the matter with us?
Do we need a break? Let's take a break.
I
take a
need a
break.
break.
Yeah, let's take a
take a
break.
break. We'll come back at 10:26. behind. I don't think that's my fault.
Our former chair never let us get behind.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing now.
Okay. We will move on to Carrie's report.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. The AED, I probably have referenced this before. The board had approved purchasing of additional AEDs, so we are working on getting those out into the buildings, and I'll be bringing before committee and AED policy for consideration. Also, just a couple of things on my radar that I am working on. I've sent some drafts out, but I can certainly share that in the near future as well. There was a request to start taking a look or vetting an email retention policy, as well as a suggestion of a delegation of authority for myself to sign off on ongoing yearly contracts on behalf of the board. So I got some drafts going on that, so that'll be coming in the near future. There's been continued work being done on our final, I say final, we're getting there, on the final rollout of Paycom, continuing to work out the bugs, and I just can't stress the amount of time and effort and things that have went into the rollout of that. So
But it'll be worth it in the end, right?
Yes, I think so.
That's what we have to,
We better.
I am the prize.
Yes, it's again, streamlining processes, cutting down on payroll errors, and I mean, those are the goals. So I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That's why I bring that up. So safety training, we're initiating that. Myself and Cody have had some conversations with regards to county employees. We use Safe Assure, so we want to ensure that ensure that our employees are going to be up to date on completing those safety trainings. So we're getting the listing together, and we'll be sharing that with department heads. So that'll be again in the near future. I did quite a bit of work here in December with Becky from the museum. We were at the tail end of closing out the museum grant through deed. So the final payment on that, or allocation for that museum, was requested through the state. So that is in process. So that'll be, I'll be happy when that's completed. It was a lot of documentation and a lot of paperwork that needed to be completed to complete that. So Becky and I have worked quite a bit on that. So the last thing I have is I just wanted to gauge interest. We are now at the beginning of the year. We've gotten through budget talks, and I was, if I recall, I was told to bring this up in January as far as looking to future work sessions again for strategic planning, capital budgeting. So I, again, just want to bring that up to see what direction you'd like to go with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
For me.
know you're going to say yes.
To conserve money, I say no.
Okay, all right.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What if we do a no pay work session, or did we already say? we
Well,
were-
work session is determined at the time we schedule it.
Time of the scheduling of the work session.
So it wouldn't be,
Unless noted, it would not be.
unless noted, it would
Unless
not be.
noted.
Correct. That's what we decided today.
In the
So,
form of a motion.
Correct.
It would need to be in the form of a motion.
Correct.
To have a
Correct.
work session and a,
Madam Chair, at the very least, we need to go through Carrie's slideshow that we missed at the last work session back in November. I mean, we paid some money to come in here and help strategically, do some
Yes,
strategic planning.
I'd
I mean,
agree.
Carrie's got something that we need to look
I
at.
would agree that we should, that very minimally see Carrie's slideshow.
I've tried to show you a few times. Barry?
I agree. We do need to,
Can
I
we do
think,
it-
have one work session.
Can we do it on an off week, 13th, next Tuesday?
Is that a Tuesday? Did you say Tuesday?
Yeah, I just suggested it. Next Tuesday's the 13th.
We have
We got
NRM.
NRM next Tuesday.
Morning?
Yep.
Morning. Okay.
I don't, hold on. My calendar's downloading.
13th.
Suggest another day then, if that doesn't work. You want to do it before our next meeting?
what's the work session? Just going to watch the video?
Well, Pressing things would be that. How long is the video?
Okay, it's not a video, it's my
It's a-
presentation
Presentation.
that I've been trying to show you. I would say it's really to start the conversation and to start talking about policy of how we're going to make decisions about how we're going to prioritize projects so that this board can get on the same page about how you're going to go about prioritizing.
That'll lead into M State.
It'll lead into several things. So I would say an hour and a half is what I would suggest.
I can make next Tuesday morning work.
What,
We have
What
NRM,
time's your NRM?
8:30.
Yeah, I don't know what time it gets done. Barry, what time's NRM get done?
well, we could have a short meeting at 8:30 and start your meeting at 9, half an hour.
Is that,
I
Yes.
can always also make Tuesday afternoon work, but I
and
would
I'm
imagine if
open
you
on
guys
Tuesday
are,
afternoon as well. So
we
whichever,
could
whatever
do-
works for this
If we're
board.
done early Tuesday afternoon, I can do that.
Do it Tuesday at 9, then I don't have to come into town twice.
I'm okay with that.
all right,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Tuesday.
I will
And
ask
you have
Peggy
1
to
hour-
send out the
A
invite
1-hour
for,
meeting?
1.5 hours.
I said 1.5, but I'll gear towards 1. How about that?
I like that.
Okay.
all right.
Um,
And we said at the time we scheduled it, we were going to decide if this work session was going to be a per diem. I'm fine saying no.
See, if I have NRM, it doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to me either.
No is fine with me.
I have
So,
another meeting that day too, so it doesn't matter to me.
so we will have a work session Tuesday at 9, Tuesday the 13th
13th.
with no
No per diem.
per diem.
I don't think you need to mention that unless you have a per diem.
Yeah.
That's
So
how.
I just wanted to make
But,
sure everybody
do
knew.
do we, those meetings are mileage meetings, so is that correct or not? I mean, to me, it doesn't matter the mile.
I would assume when you have
They
a
have
scheduled
them.
meeting,
Yeah,
you
they
have a
them.
mileage.
It's a dot. Okay.
Okay, we got that scheduled. Anything else?
Peggy will send out a calendar. I got one enthusiastic member over here to my left. The last thing I just wanted to mention to the board, I'll be
We're
out
all
of
to your
the,
left. Yeah,
off to the-
she said.
I will be out of the office Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. I'm taking some vacation days.
Enjoy.
That's all I have. Oh, nope. You wanted me to bring up blight properties. Commissioner.
Blight properties and where we are in conditional use permit look back,
Conditional use.
Well-
like following up to make sure that they're following the, right?
Yeah.
The blighted properties was, I mean, we talked about that last year at this time. And where we at? I know, I heard it was at the attorney the last,
There were
I heard
some-
blighted
some of them.
properties.
Some of them, not all of them.
Last involvement in it was the round table at the other department.
Yep.
Thought it was kind of a, it's going to be on the committee type discussion.
We had talked about the person from the district that it's in, that
That is
discussion.
the
Yeah.
last discussion that I was at as well, where specific properties, the commissioner that was in wherever those blighted properties, along with whatever the team was determined was going to go out and potentially view the property, bring back recommendations.
So we maybe want to have put together of some sort of form or policy that we follow on
It
that.
seems to me like no matter what is going to be, what the blight property is going to be, we need something in our ordinance, our policy, something.
We need a
We don't
policy
have-
for review, how to review that and
Yeah.
escalate that to that.
Like how you're going to go about,
I don't know, something like
reviewing.
that.
I
What do
think-
you think? I would assume that.
I would assume.
I would assume those.
And then the conditional use permit look back, I mean, we have no follow-up to make sure the conditional use permit, we issue them, but we don't check to make sure it's done properly or not. So I wanted to go back 5 years, about 30 a year, Kyle said, and I wanted to do it in the winter because that's the time they got more time to go back and just make sure. And Barry, you said we don't want to be snooping around. Well, if we give the conditional use permit, we should be able to access the property. If we don't, let's do a drive, let's do the best we can to make sure they abided by what they said they were going to do.
Right.
That's all it was.
I think
I
then-
disagree with that. I think that
Overreach?
yeah, just let sleeping dogs lie. If somebody has a complaint, bring the complaint in, we'll act on it.
that's how we've
To
operated.
go out and start causing trouble for people doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of this stuff, like the guy who's supposed to keep all of his stuff inside, okay? But yet the neighbor doesn't have to keep his stuff inside. If there's a problem, let's address the problem, let's fix the problem, let's enforce the conditional use, but let's not go looking for problems. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Varberg, don't disagree with you, but when we were talking about this blighted properties, we needed to have a process in place. So this kind of fit that we are doing this,
I'd say when there's a complaint for a blighted property or a complaint for a conditional use permit problem, then we address it. Otherwise, we just let
I've
people
always-
live their lives.
Madam
I'm
Chair.
not into giving people trouble.
I've always said that when we add conditions on conditional use permit, we should have a review. And it doesn't have to be a official review, but we should, when our people are driving around, I mean, on other things, and we have just have your list of properties that have conditions on them. Under that, you can just drive by and see if they're meeting those, if they're becoming an issue. I mean, I'm not saying walk on site, but I'm saying if you're driving by and see there's a violation, I think then the discretion of the employee at that time can take note and say, I think this is something to consider sending a letter or not. Now, if they say, it's minimal, it's not anything that we want to, then we don't. But I think that we give the discretion to the employee to say this I see escalating if it.
Madam Chair, what I see from that, Commissioner Nelson, is, you let them do it. You let everybody else do it, but you don't let me do anything. I mean, I hear that time and time again. I heard it on the watershed a lot. You let somebody else do something that you don't let someone else do it.
Well,
To me, this would make it
consistency.
consistent, it would make it fair.
If that person has a specific place, then they tell you, and then you go say, give me the names of the complaints that you want then, and we will review them. I mean,
Madam Chair, I think with this discussion, and we've had this discussion before, it's really about the philosophy of the work. Are we reactive or are we proactive? And where do we want to be in zoning specifically? Now, if we want to be more proactive with this would be something as we talk about measurements within departments. This might be something, as far as the measurements, how many violations once you issue these and those kinds of types of things, if that's the direction you want to go.
Which I think is a policy, right? Like
I would.
a policy that we would have to come up
It's
with.
it's a shift in how you do your work.
well, we had one nearly came, the Dollar General, that was not following the conditions on their usage. And they weren't listening. So it came back to we were going to remove their conditional use permit to allow that business because they weren't following the conditions. That's where it ended up. And then they started following them as soon as that was said that we're going to put you on the agenda. So you can get compliance rather quickly if they're not, through the office have sent out letters. And but I think there's priorities on different properties. There's one that, I mean, like a commercial use like that in a residential area, if they're not following their conditions, that's significant. Now,
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, you had said a little thing. You said some of these storage sheds, well, we want some buffers, some tree buffers out there. Well, let's say they don't do it. Not that big a deal. Nobody's complaining about it. It was in the conditional use permit. Is that an example of something that, hey, they should be reminded, or hey, remember this was, like something like that? How should that be handled?
the same Dollar General had that, and they were required to, and they didn't do it right away, and the neighbor said this was part of it. So I don't know. I would love us to go out and monitor annually, but we don't have the staff to do it.
No, I asked Kyle, we do. He said we issue about 30 conditional use permits a year, and to go back 5 years in the wintertime when he's got more time, and especially with not going on site and making a checklist, just doing he said he could handle that.
And then there's some that we don't, how do I say this? That are in violation that I don't care to correct, that are things that aren't needed to address. I'll give you an example. There's one by my house. I'm not going to, but it's got a conditional use permit. Now, it's not being used for that anymore. It's sold, and one of the conditions is there can be nothing outside. Now, they decorated with old machinery. I mean, so they would have to go back and get this conditional use removed from that property. Costs them money to remove it because now it's just a private So there's things like, oh, this will hurt people too.
Well, it seems to me if we have Kyle saying it's something that he can do, maybe Kyle has the direction, and we allow him to do what he wants, what he's able to do.
There has to be some administrative or employee review to say that this is significant enough, I want to bring it forward. I mean, a tree plantings, I think that's the simple one. You have not complied, I think you should put those trees up. I mean, that one's simple, but a condition that you can't have anything outside storage on your commercial use, now it's changed ownership. It shouldn't be conditional use permit there anymore because they don't use it. It's for private storage and they have a camper there.
I thought that after so many years of not being used, the conditional use
That was,
permit.
that's just initial use, I
Just
believe.
initial.
I'm not sure.
I think it's just initial, but I'm not sure.
Well, do we have any, just for the,
I think we
continue
move.
to move on, is
I
there
think
anything?
on the blight or on this type of thing, I think if Kyle has time to do that, and I think if we can use administrative judgment on those, I think he can do that without us doing anything, but just start reviewing some of those that.
The conditional use permit?
Yeah,
Are you
the
talking about?
conditions on those, I think some of
That's what we
those should be
talked about.
reviewed
Yep.
and have administrative to see if they're rise to the level of bringing those forward or not. Or just a letter stating that, you need to plant these trees by next year, we'll review you again.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Varberg, I'm not going out looking for stuff. I just want to say if we are the authority here, we're issuing these things and you haven't complied, it's not fair to everybody else. And why do we issue them then? Why do we have?
Part of the problem is if a conditional use on a business, the neighbors don't know what's allowed, what they should or shouldn't be doing, but so they can add something and, 4 years down the road, something else goes up or something else, and I don't think that's appropriate. So I don't have a problem with some review of these on some sort of, for administrative review. I think it's a good idea.
I see all kinds of problems, whether they have, so say that, I see all kinds of problems where they don't even have a conditional use permit. And there's such a mess in some of these places. Now, they're not blight properties. That's what I mean. There's people who don't get conditional use permits. And I'm not sure everybody should have a
Well,
conditional use permit.
we did change that.
In every place.
Some of those administrative,
Yeah,
through our process, we just changed some of those. So some of those don't need it.
I mean, I'd say, I'm gonna tell you right now, out here at Brandy Lake, that's a terrible thing. When we get that stuff straightened out, then maybe we should go around looking, but we're gonna go look for problems when we can't fix a real problem where they're blocking the road and on a
Madam-
daily basis, and we're doing nothing about that, but we're gonna go look for more trouble. I like it when somebody complains, we address the complaint, fix it.
Madam Chair.
Otherwise, let people have their lives, have their land, use their land. Don't dump oil in the lake. Don't run your sewer line into the lake. I mean, there's a lot of things they shouldn't be doing, but I don't want to nitpick it.
Well, we're not going out, these are conditions on conditional use permits that they agreed to get the conditions.
Yeah.
So we're not going out looking for businesses that are in or new things that are in violation.
Yes.
So we're looking at.
So I do think, though, that we should probably get something, because as Commissioner Hanson has said, we've been talking about this blight property issue for a long time. I do think we need to continue, if it's something that we need to get into our ordinance so that we can enforce it, then I think we need to move forward with that, because there are your property, I have one in my property that we would like to do something with it. And we're kind of back at a standstill of what do we do. So I don't know if that's the zoning ordinance review committee that does that, or who that is, but I do think we should move forward with whatever policy, ordinance, whatever we need to do for those blight properties.
We need to do that.
Well,
I think as far as the conditional use permit, that is something that Kyle can handle.
Yeah, he's got time.
I don't think we need a policy, or we need anything. If he has time, he can follow up with them and
make sure, hey,
If there's a concern, he
they
can
got this.
let the board know.
They didn't plant trees yet. When are you planting those trees? Go ground pro, something like that.
Okay, anything else with that or,
Well,
Your report.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
I think to make sure we're clear, then we're asking Carrie to bring us back some sort of timeline or something for blight
Some kind of
properties.
an update.
Some kind of, something,
Some type
or
of,
next steps or,
concrete thing that we can act on to have have a policy for
it's a policy or how we're going to be
how-
pursuing the.
pursuing blight properties, correct? Yeah.
Got it?
Yep.
Yep. I have it.
okay, anything else before we move on to resolution 1F?
I don't have anything else in my report.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have resolution 126-1F, which is the setting of minimum salary for elected officials. Do you want to speak to that, Carrie?
Correct. So there's statutory language prior to filing dates for elected official that the board must set minimum salaries. This is minimum, not maximum. So obviously, what I did, I looked back to see when the last time this was done, and I found in 2017. So I basically looked at the salaries that were set then, doubled them, kind of looked, even though these individuals are not on DDA scales, but that's how I came up with minimum.
Madam Chair, I will move to approve Resolution 1F.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just want to note that these are minimum salaries that we
Are they-
can't go below.
Are they minimum salaries?
Hence minimum salary setting.
Minimum
They are
salaries.
minimum
No, but I
salaries.
mean,
You can go-
We don't have to hire somebody at this salary. We can go above this salary if we hire. somebody.
Yes.
Or get somebody.
This is the minimum standard.
So are these?
They're minimum, they're minimal.
They're minimal.
And minimal.
All right, any further
I
discussion?
would say something, but I can't say it in a public setting.
I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and that is all I have for today.
But they're minimum, right?
But they're no, they're minimal.
Minimum. All right, next up, we have NRM. Mitch and Steve.
They probably deserve that. after
Hear about the
my
Dutton Lock
comments.
Shelter renovation estimate.
Morning.
Still morning, right?
Yeah.
Still morning.
Thanks, Mitch.
We'll just give you an update on the Dutton Lock renovation shelter, that, the old one. We went and got 2 quotes for updating the shelter. This has been through NRM, it's been through finance, I'll bring it here. The quotes are to do, basically, so we lock down what we can do with the property or get us some estimate so we can fix it. We're also going to hold off on this until there's a possible grant opportunity. We're going to do some research on that to see if we could get a grant to help pay for part of this, as well as some of the parking lot and the driveway. And once we get those estimates for the paving and fixing of the parking lot, that'll give us an idea where we want to go with, whether we want to apply for a grant or not. And then this would move forward in the spring.
So as far as the estimate goes, do we need to act on that today?
I guess it'd be nice to have the estimate approved at, maybe at this amount. Say a month from now, we come back to that same contract
Yeah.
and changes, but I'm just looking for,
Madam Chair, Mitch, this was considerably more than what we had kind of thrown around.
for the shelter, I think we were looking around that 20, 30,000. We talked to Max at NRM to spend, do some renovations on that.
I was remembering put some windows in and
Yeah.
do some, I was remembering 5 to 10.
Yeah, and this will dress it up a little, it's not gonna be fancy. It is a park shelter at the same time, but.
Well, I
we do
expect
have
this to be a little fancier than the 5 to 10 we were talking about.
But to remove the existing stuff that's still there, it takes time too, and.
All right.
This includes windows, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it includes the cost of the windows.
Mhm, yeah.
I think when we were in NRM, I think we said that we're looking at under 20, I think. is
Well, that's what I thought we were too.
What
but-
we said in our committee.
Okay.
And I think
A rack.
very reasonable.
Oh, I don't know what.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I question, this does include the windows,
Yeah,
correct?
because it was,
Yeah, that was a follow-up at NRM to make sure all the materials included in they are, so.
So I guess the question is, if we make a motion to approve this, are we making a motion to approve it with or without the grant monies? Because we're trying to use this as bait to get monies for the grant because they don't use grant money for paving of the parking lot. We wouldn't get much, but this improvement might qualify. So my question is then, if we make a motion to approve this, are we making a motion to approve it with or without, unconditionally with or without the grant?
Because we talked about, Barry, that it's a lot of trouble to get a grant, right?
Yeah, if it's a $500 grant, it's not worth the time to go after a $500 grant.
My request would be if we were unsuccessful with a grant, I guess everything would get packaged up and brought back to committee with an estimate of the paving or parking expansion. But if we were unsuccessful, could we move forward with this estimate or something very close to that? And absorb the cost through recreation budget.
And which, that money can only be spent on certain things, correct?
Recreation?
Yeah, so the money for this, say we went ahead and fixed this shelter, that doesn't affect that's money we can't spend on something else, is that correct?
At this time, it's not levy money.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
But just a point, those funds don't increase like they used to, and to improve our recreation activities in the future may require us to put general fund monies in it.
Correct.
In the future, I would suspect.
However, I do think that we need to do something with the shelter.
If we're going to keep it.
If we're going to keep it,
We need to do something with it.
yes.
And there is quite a bit there to throw away, isn't there? Isn't that? So to construct something like that would be very expensive.
Well, is it something we want to keep, or if it's not? That's our options. If it's not, then we should.
So how busy is that new shelter?
This first summer is busy, yeah. And there's,
Do you think people would be using this one if we fixed it up? Have you guys been paying attention? Phil, have you been paying attention to what's going on down there with our new
People
shelter?
down there?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out there a few times. I mean, I don't know. You'd have the numbers for the reservations, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's growing and growing, and we put the new shelter up that's got a lot of attraction to it. It's got that year-round aspect, but the one thing that is we reserved the new shelter and then the one up on the hill. And this original one, the VFW shelter, through committees, and I think the board said we're going to leave that so the general public don't have to worry about getting in somebody's wedding reunion or wedding party. They can, that's for the general public.
Non-reserved.
Non-reserved.
Yeah. So right now, somebody could come out there and use the new one and find out it's reserved and not
Correct.
be able to use it and
Yes.
have to leave then. Okay. So.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, you said this isn't taxpayer dollars or levy dollars. What did you mean by that?
These are there's two funds that NRM has that are generated by tax forfeited land sales and timber sale land sales.
Okay.
And that's what we've generally funded this with. As we've changed some of the funding formulas now with the state not allowing us to keep all those funds, they're not going to replenish like they did at one time.
But those funds must be used on certain
On these,
recreation
these two
or.
funds are, yes, they're limited what you can spend on.
So Mitch, this bid is good for how long?
Don't know the date. They didn't.
So what I'm asking is NRM wanted to keep it under 20. So we make a motion to accept this bid. Should we also say, hey, the bid might, up to a,
I would say if we want to accept the bid, I think if it's not, I think it is what it is. If it's not, then we have to come back.
okay.
Yeah,
Madam
I
Chair,
agree.
I'll move to approve the low bid for the Dunlocks shelter renovation estimate, excluding grant. I mean, if you get it, great. If you don't, go forward.
For payment up to
16,310.
16,310.
I'll
Yep.
second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just a question, if there's any change orders, do we authorize Carrie to review those and use her judgment and any up to her
Sure.
Yeah, we're both, I'm good with that, Susie.
maximum without board approval?
Of 5,000 maximum. of 5,000.
I mean, knowing that we're not looking for anything improvements for change orders, so use her discretion.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all,
You guys are okay with that?
Yep,
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next we have the tractor loader boom mower.
Yeah, next item, it's capital purchase for John Deere tractor, loader, and a boom mower. That boom mower is more of a brush cutter. So if you used out at our county forest roads, which we have about 50 miles of recorded county forest roads on, and then there's, on top of that, there's minimum maintenance roads out there that also connecting those main arteries in our land base that we manage. If you want to look at the tractor and all that details on it, but this includes, yes, the tractor, a loader with that, and then a diamond cut boom mower, which I don't think
And
we
you
have.
could, you could put a box blade on there and fix that trail a little bit too.
So Jerry can.
Hear that, Jerry?
And Jerry's
Jerry can drive
charger.
on it.
Are you actually gonna use it?
I'll hire you on and you can run it.
You could probably drive behind it with your car so you can see it being.
Madam Chair, Mitch, where are you going to store this? Will this be at highway or environmental? Where are you going to keep this?
Yeah, ideally, it could be put out at a highway, I think, out in the boneyard there with our other trailers and stuff, but if there's an option to put it inside, that's great too. I don't know if there's room at the Pelican River Watershed Building or.
No, it's not tall. Well,
Are we gonna use
We'd
it,
like to take care
are
of
we
it.
gonna use it at the landfill?
Yes.
We might use it some there, I mean,
Well, then,
obviously to mow things
shouldn't it
there, or
Be
because
stored there?
a lot of the forest roads are more towards the northeast side of the county. We have a back shed that's full of some stuff out at Osage. We could temporarily store it there.
Yeah.
too. But we'll find some space to store it.
Okay.
Yeah, and isn't there room in the hazardous,
No, that's pretty full.
that big shop with the big doors all full out there?
They use that operationally.
Madam Chair, Mitch, I mean, what's your estimated number of hours? I mean, is this going to, I mean, if we're going to spend this money on which I'm all for, let's get it out there and let's get somebody using. Do we have the capacity to put people in here regularly so that it's not sitting in the shop?
Yeah, ideally, and I think coming forward, it's a Parks and Rec maintenance position, a lead that kind of took over the roles that
Yeah.
the STS crew leader did.
Yep.
For things like that. And I think there's those times a year where, late spring, late fall, where they're not out mowing and doing stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
a great time to be.
Yeah.
You can see what you're brushing, and also doing forest road maintenance. It's a good time to do it. So, but I think during the middle of summer as well, it'd be a good opportunity to cross-train forestry staff to do this work as well down the road. So, yeah, I think there'd be time for, I can't give you an estimated hours, but we would use it. We haven't brushed since 2020, a lot of our forest roads, so, and they grow in within
Yep.
4 or 5 years really quickly, so.
Madam Chair, this is I'm a huge advocate for this. This is a lot of money. I want to make sure that's not sitting in a shop somewhere. I want to get it out there and get it used, and let's take care of these trails. I think that's great.
Jerry approves. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the tractor loader and boom mower for up to $240,000.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, on to Mr. Skoog.
We'd like to buy a new walking floor trailer. We got 4 quotes. We would like to go with the low quote. It's a Mack trailer, purchased through North American Trailer Sales for the amount of $119,425. Currently, we have 4 newer trailers, 1 older one. The older one was a leftover that we purchased from the contractor that was hauling our refuse in the past. That trailer is reaching the end of its life. The cross members are rotting out. And the county just continues to grow, and the more things that we do and we handle, there's a more need for these trailers. So we budgeted for this year, and we'd just like to move forward with the purchase.
I have one question.
Sure.
You need the liner too, so is that going to come later? Is that in the budget?
Once we receive it, we would contact Horn Plastics,
Okay.
Fargo, and then we could fund that just as a repair.
Okay.
I will move to approve the purchase of the walking floor trailer request.
I'll second.
Can you put the
The dollar amount?
Sorry, it was up.
It's one,
We're up to 125,000. So,
It's
I
119,000.
thought it was
119.
119,425.
okay.
All
For
right.
that amount. Richard?
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The second request is to purchase a motor diagnostic scan tool. We have quite a few motors out at the South campus, and our mechanic would like to be able to purchase a scan tool to help with the diagnostics of problems that they run into. We did look at two different types of scan tools, and this is based on government pricing for this one. It's a Snap-on is the company that's behind it. This includes 3 years' worth of software and service that goes to back this up.
Madam Chair, what we found was that Environmental was running over to the highway to get their scan tool quite regularly. So we inquired how many times, and then we just thought it'd be better to have this scan tool. We did upgrade it so that highway could now maybe use this scan tool on some of their equipment. It's like you need a scan tool for every different type of machine. But this is a pretty heavy-duty scan tool machine, and it would be shared with highway when necessary.
And it would make sense because we have a mechanic out at the.
We do have a mechanic out there now.
And we can
with
bill
that-
highway back too if we let them use it.
So with that, I will move to approve the diagnostic scan tool.
Just kidding, Jim. Just
Up to $14,000.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion?
Well, just for the sharing of equipment, I just hope there's not a lot of bill paying back and forth. Bill sent back and
Yeah,
forth.
we've been borrowing theirs. I don't think.
I'm sorry, I just made a joke of it.
Yeah, it's okay. You
Well-
can make a joke, as long as it's funny.
All right, any
That was
further
funnier than
discussion?
the joke.
I'll call to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch and Steve.
Hello, Sheriff Cronter.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I have one request. It's a purchase request for 2 squad cars. They're both Fords. One at a cost that's a Marked Squad, cost of $46,619.44, and an unmarked at $46,172.44 for a total of $92,791.88. And this is in our budget.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Feeling better?
Getting there.
Madam Chair, I'd like to talk to Mary and say, I really like your new glasses over there, Mary. I haven't seen those before.
Okay, is there something I need to read?
Yep, you gotta read the whole thing like they made me do.
Just read the statute.
Just read the statute.
That one
Number.
said something
Just-
about Teamsters.
Ricky, you were 100% right on the gate.
I'm gonna run.
Hey,
I'm gonna
you're
run-
not supposed to point at people. It's intimidating.
So what's here, I can just read, but just,
Not going anywhere.
but just need to take off the what's in the, what's on the agenda says with Teamsters Local 320.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't see that.
So,
Yes.
but I'll just stop
Based
it.
on the attorney,
and
Yeah, if you
discuss
want to read
potential
some.
and pending legal actions.
Yes.
1 second. Nate was wondering about the legal opinion, if he could, if or when he could get a copy of that. What was discussed on the road. I told him I did. Thank you. It's a Brian, we have to determine when we can get it to you.
You said just hand it over.
He's right there.
Did he? Oh, I was like, Brian?
Okay, go.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting pursuant to Minnesota Statute 139.05 subdivision 3B based on attorney-client privilege to discuss potential and pending legal actions.
13D. not
Did you,
nine.
was that?
She, that's a
I
motion, yeah.
meant D.
Yeah, she did say I'll make a motion, so I'll second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are in closed session.
Oh, my gosh.